wetin we carry for her. But they move closer before they go sabi. I said they never know wetin we carry for body. But they move closer before they go sabi. Ọ̀gbìn lọ́lọ́dà ẹyẹ ìléwọ́n ló lájú. Ìyẹn tó lórí kodò bí àgbọn ọgbọ́n ìjẹ̀lẹ̀ lù. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa. Ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè kó dúdú àga. Òdúdú àkóbá lè gbé wá. Ọmọ òdúdú á ṣe kiri. Ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀kọ́ adúláwọ̀. Ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé. Délẹ̀ ìlérí ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa. Ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé. Ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri. Ìyàwó Odùduwà ni wá. Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ. Ètò tó kọjú ògbó tí wà máa ní. Àṣà ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wà kájé gbogbo ayé jẹ. Ètò tó kọjú ògbó tí wà máa ní. À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàtà lárugẹ. Ètò tó kọjú ògbó tí wà máa ní. News and sports, ẹ máa rí gbọ́. Ètò tó kọjú ògbó tí wà máa ní. Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa dé tantan. Koikimedia ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájú mọ̀ mi. Má bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ̀, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi. Ṣé ìlọ máa fi bíbọ̀ ọ̀tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o? Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa dé. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀. Ikú máa wọ̀ kájọ́jì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀. Àjòjì tó bá bọ̀bẹ̀ á bẹ̀bẹ̀ ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ náwó òyìnbó tó dé. Ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, òun náà dẹ́kun pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia sáwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àdáńsọ àtúnpèrè gidi. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ jẹ́ ká jọgbọ́ o. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àtúnjà fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Ikú tí ó ṣe bí ó sì àdéhùn bàbá èèyàn. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. We bring you one closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o tó kàn kí oko lára ni. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àpèrè gidi Olódùmarè tó fún wa ṣe. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ní bàbá o. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà ni wá o. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Odùduwà lágbèdá ní òtítọ́ lágbèdá ní. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sóní kẹta. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Àdúró tán, àtúnpèrè gèdè. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá. Koikimedia we bring you one closer to your doorstep. Àwọn ní bàbá. Koikimedia is around. To give us latest. Is around o. To give us latest. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó gbódùn owó. Ladies and gentlemen, ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀. Ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó gbódùn owó. Koikimedia is around. To give us latest.
It is a Sunday, and this is how we roll it from London as we continue to use this platform to prepare and educate us away from Nigeria. Look at the headline and let us discuss. When would the Northerners, Hausa àti Fulani, when will the Northerners, àwọn Kanu, Kaduna, Zaria, Sokoto, gbogbo ilẹ̀ Hausa. When are they going to be fed up with Tinubu? When do you think that the North will be fed up of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Are they fed up already? Or they're just managing him? Katsina, anywhere that is not Yoruba land, that is not Middle Belt, that is not Southeast. When would the Northerners be fed up of President Bola Tinubu? And what is their agenda just after Tinubu completes his tenure? This is the time that all the Yoruba elders must stand with Yoruba nation. This is not the time to play around. Regardless of their own side, because the Northerners are cooking something quietly, and they are preparing for the eventuality of the exit of Tinubu and when they come back to power. Do you think that we are all safe should the North come back to power? Do you think that we are safe as Nigerians, as Yoruba people? We knew what happened for the 8 years period of President Buhari, the evil monster, the Fulani bastard. How he was able to destroy not just the economy, he also added terrorism into his own portfolio. What more do you think that we will gain from the next president? Because the presidency will definitely not go to the Southeast. So nobody should think about the Southeast in the picture of presidency. As far as the Nigeria today, the Southeast is not classified to become the president of Nigeria. Ganduje said so, and many of them said so. So if you are from the Southeast, your best bet is to support the breakup of Nigeria as quickly as possible, because nobody's going to give you presidency. So the fight to Nigeria is between the Yorubas and the North. The fight of Nigeria to sustain right now is between the North and the Yorubas. And the question is, when would the Northerners eventually get fed up of Tinubu? Would they allow Tinubu to complete his tenure? Or will there be likely, with all the evidence pointing out, that they will want to kill Tinubu and install their own person inside? Whether through a military coup, whether through a denial that terrorism invaded Abuja and was able to kick Tinubu out of office, if he survives it, or if Tinubu traveled out of Nigeria, they might eventually overthrow Shetima, which will be all planned. So it will look like Shetima was captured and the power was taken by terrorism or the military that are planning. And don't tell me the evidence are not pointing out. Shehu Sani told us that the mannequin that they cooked, sitting there somewhere in Castina calling himself Buhari, they are planning. And the North are always loyal to each other. Forget about the political party among them. So that is what we are discussing. And I want to read as many of your comments. If you're new to the platform, don't ever, ever come and tell us to free ours. Don't come and tell us to save Nigeria, is what I want to say. Be very conscious with your comment. We curse on this platform. If it's not the kind of platform you want to listen to, you can bag out off now. But if you're one of those that believe that Nigeria should break, you can sit back and let's enjoy the program. Moki Gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa, and also my Biafran brothers and sisters. If you're watching me from the Middle Belt, I say good afternoon. If you're new to this platform, I say shout out to you. Those of you expecting the Mix LR to be on, within 22 minutes, it will reset itself and we will be live from that channel. But right now, let us go with all the platform that we are streaming from. If you're not getting notification, it has got nothing to do with me. It is what the world that doesn't like the truth, especially those of us that are agitating and asking for the right of the Yoruba people. Let me quickly slot this in, or maybe we should slot it in later, because it might be maybe now or later, from our brother, the voice of the Yoruba, Ijaya Ijaya. I think we should listen to it now, if I can find it quickly. Moki Bugwa, happy Sunday. It is the 7th day of the month. Emma Bino, I will not be mentioning names because we want to crack on as quickly as possible. I'm working with time. We have 3 hours to play with, and I want to make use of all the timing. So we just say good afternoon and welcome to every single one of you.
Up Yoruba Nation. Up Yoruba Nation. Up Yoruba Nation. Yoruba Nation no going back. Yoruba Nation nìkan ló lè ṣe. Dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ olódà wa. Bánjí Akíntóyè. Ìgbòho Òòṣà. Gbogbo group pátápátá. Gbogbo sọ̀rọ̀sọ̀rọ̀. Gbogbo náwó. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń wake up. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń dá sí. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tó ń ká lára. Adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà. Ojú òní tì yín ó tì yín tì. Ṣojú yín ò tí là tó ń sìn. Àbí ó dìgbà tó bá gbébọn sí yín lórí. Ṣé ó dìgbà tó bá fi gígùn yín ní fúrọ̀. Ẹ̀yin ò ṣe jẹ́ ká bira wà. Kí ló dé tí Fúlàní ń kó màálùú jókòó tá sọ́sọ́sọ́sọ́ tí wọ́n dúró. Tí wọ́n dáwọ́ àbàjẹ́ dúró. Tí àwọn àgbàlagbà Fúlàní tí wọ́n kọ̀ dẹ́nu kan tó ń ṣe. Why now? Tá ń pariwo ọdún bọ́dún, oṣù mọ́ṣù, ọjọ́ bọ́jọ́, Fúlàní ò stọ́ọ̀pù àbàjẹ́. Ṣé àrọ́sí ni àbáfi ṣe? Ọmọ Yorùbá jẹ́ ká bira wà. Kí ló dé tó ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tá stop? Ẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ di. Brigade ló gbé owó fún wọn kó máa ṣe kan tó ń ṣe. Brigade ti gbé owó fún àwọn àgbàgbà Fúlàní kó máa ṣe kan tó ń ṣe láti pa wá ní South, láti pa ọmọ Yorùbá, láti pa ọmọ Igbo, láti pa ọmọ Niger Delta, láti pa ọmọ Rivers State, láti pa anybody payable in the South. Kí òun lè ta poison food tó fẹ́ kó wọ Naija. Ṣé mọ̀ wípé táwọn Fúlàní bá ń fẹ́ràn jókòó? Ẹ̀yin ò ní gbádùn. Ìyàn máa dé. Ẹ wá máa jẹran brigade. Ẹ máa jadìyẹ brigade. Poison ni o. Ikú ni o. Death sentence ni o. Àṣàlá ìdù ló máa gbèjà o. Ẹ má jẹran brigade o. Ẹ má jẹ láti market product ẹ̀. Everybody. Because thing about everybody jẹ́ kó tó bá rí ẹ má jẹ bọ́ìsì ọmọ Yorùbá. Ẹ̀yin náà ẹ máa ṣàdìyẹ ẹsẹ̀ wúrẹ́ ẹsẹ̀ ṣíkì kí ló ṣe tá lè ṣe. Ẹ sì wọ́n nínú ọgbà tó bá náà gbà sì wọ́n ládùúgbò ọ̀rẹ́ àdúgbò bá fẹ́ jẹ́ ń bẹ̀ jẹ́ bá jẹ́ ń bẹ̀. Wọ́n máa bẹ́ẹ̀ tọ́jú ìtọ́kù. Ẹ má jẹ ẹran bíi géètì o. Ẹ má jẹ ṣíkì bíi géètì o. Ẹ má jẹ any product tó wá látọwọ́ bíi géètì láfíríkà. Poison ni o. Poison ni o. Ó ti gbé owó fún àwọn àgbààgbà Fúlàní. Ìyẹn ló ṣe kọ́ntínì nǹkan tó ń ṣe. Ṣebí Nàìjíríà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ gbogbo wa. Wáyé tí Nàìjíríà ń kókun jà Nàìjíríà. Tí ò bá nídìí. Ẹ̀bìrì ayé ẹ̀yọ́ lẹ́gbọ́n ṣèbẹ́jọ̀gbọ́n ní yín. Wọ́n ń kalẹ̀ àkàyè mọ́wé. Ó mà ṣe o. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ló gbọ́. Àtẹ̀yí tó lọ sí skul. Tó bá ṣàlàyé rẹ̀. In own understanding. Ẹ máa rí pápá wa ń bẹ̀ o. Ẹ gbà. Àwọn ọlọ́mọ tí tá a máa fi jagun. Yorùbá ọ̀gọ̀. Yorùbá ọ̀gọ̀. Yorùbá ọ̀gọ̀. A máa pọ̀ gan. Tàbá bínú tán. Mélòó la fẹ́ pa nínú wa? Mélòó lẹ máa pa? Yorùbá nation must stand. Táwọn Haúsá tí àwọn Fúlàní ò bá gbarí jọ́nà. Fúlàní tó jọ́nà náà rí tì. Àwọn yẹn nẹ́nu. Haúsá gangan ò nẹ́nu. Ìgbò ò nẹ́nu. Yorùbá ò nẹ́nu. Ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà wọ̀nyí. Ẹlẹ́jú yín sílẹ̀. Tàkùbọ̀ ń kó wọ́. Ṣé nọ́mà? Ṣé nọ́mà? Ṣé nọ́mà? Ṣé yóò rí pé bí géètì ló gbówó bá àwọn Fúlàní ní tó fi ṣe kọ́tà ṣe tá stop? Ṣé wọ́n ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀? Ta ló wà nídìí ẹ̀ brigade? Brigade ló ń da Nàìjíríà rú o. Brigade ló ń da Nàìjíríà rú o. Brigade is a vagabond. Brigade is an idiot. Brigade is a pussy hole. Brigade is a motherfucker. Brigade is a traitor. Brigade is a killer. Brigade is anti-humanity, anti-human being, anti-Africa, anti-Nigeria, anti-Yoruba people, anti-Igbo, anti-Niger Delta, anti-South South. Brigade is a criminal. Akabi Eshu, the first son of devil. Brigade in you. Brigade in you. We don't want you in Africa in a short time. Brigade, do your investment in America. We don't want your blood money in Africa. Keep to yourself. Keep to yourself, Brigade. Brigade, keep to yourself. Shoti ye bo ye. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ̀gán. Wọ́n fẹ́ forí jalè àgbọ̀n máa rí jà àgbọ̀n o. Wọ́n fẹ́ forí jalè èṣù ó máa rí jà èṣù. Tọ́ba tí wọ́n ògiri tán, àwọn kan máa gbọ̀gá o. Á pọ̀ bí omi òkun. Á pọ̀ bí iyanrìn ilẹ̀. Mélòó lẹ fẹ́ pa? Youth rise up. Youth reloaded. Take your space. Take your space. Agbọ́dọ̀ lé àwọn corrupted leader wọ́n gbó. The game has changed. Ẹbí ra kékeré yàn. Àwa pọ̀ o. Àwa pọ̀ ju kéèyàn lọ o. After 5 kéèyàn o. Táwa bá dà síta. You can. We are times 5 of Kenya people. When Nigeria come out, the world cannot handle it. Doctors of Nigeria federal government. Ẹ máa sáré kàbàkàbà. Ẹ̀yin youth reloaded. Nigeria youth reloaded. We have to divide the nation. If they don't want regional, we have to divide the nation. If they don't want regional, we have to divide the nation. If they don't want regional, bottom line, final. Up Yoruba nation, up Yoruba nation, up Akitoye, up Igbowosha, up gbogbo campaigners, agitator, gbogbo group, dásí, sọ̀rọ̀, àdúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín o. Ẹ bá jẹ́ ó bàjẹ́ o, Yorùbá dánwọ́ yín o. Ó bàjẹ́ tí ẹgbẹ́ òun sókè, ó bàjẹ́ tí ojú wa ti là, ó bàjẹ́ tí ojú wa ti là, ó bàjẹ́ tí ojú wa ti là. Ẹ jàjà fúnra wa, ẹ má jà fọ́mọ ojo. Ọmọ ojo ni politician. Do not fight for Javojo. Fight for yourself. Fight for your region. Fight for your land. Fight for your people. Ó ti débi tó jọ ọlọ́mọ òtó. Brigade is a criminal. We don't want brigade food. We don't want brigade product. We don't want anything to do with brigade in Nigeria. It is a poison. It is a poison. It is a poison to kill you. You. Up Yoruba nation. Up Yoruba nation.
That was Ijaya, and I've said it again. I have multiple screens, and I can pick your comment. If this platform is not for you, I will say fuck off. We are very serious with this movement. We are not one Nigeria. We hate anything known as Nigeria on this platform. If you want your one fucking Nigeria, you can move to different location and fight for that one Nigeria. But one thing is, that one Nigeria will be destroyed. Firstly, with as much education to prepare the minds of millions of our people that will rise up and demand for their right under the self-determination. I just want to play one video quickly before we go dive into the discussion, because there's a lot to cover. Let me say shout out to my family, and don't mind them as they are doing their own little thing behind the scene. Just love them for me, because they've been able to tolerate us for a very long time for the last 4 years. So once you get their sound like that, just say, I'm going to do a long party in any background. And if you're one of those that doesn't like those sound, like I said, fuck off from this platform. Thank you so much, Peter Pan, and shout out to many of you as well. Let's listen to this quickly. These are two Kenyans that were taken to the court, I believe, sometime last week, as we've seen what is happening in Kenya. Whatever is happening in Kenya, we will continue to say that millions of that would happen in Nigeria if care is not taken, because it is actually sitting on the keg of gunpowder. But let's listen to these two brave men that even in the midst of what they might not know what would happen to them, this is what they have to say.
We created disturbance in a manner likely to cause a breach of peace by yelling, shouting, and attempt to disrupt the photo shooting session by the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, and Economic Planning and Youth Delegates. Is it true or not true? Julius, is it true or not true?
Okay, I don't want to betray my concerns, Your Honor.
Is it true or not true?
It's true. As I said, I don't want to betray my concerns. I'm ready to do anything to see change in this country. I'm ready to die for freedom. I'm ready to die for justice. I'm ready to die for equality. We cannot continue living as in our own country, the land of our fathers, the land where our fathers died and died to free this nation from the shackles of colonialism. Colonialism never really ended in this country. Even in this court, they use colonial pinnacle.
8 minutes for the big seller. 8 minutes.
Get justice in a court of law. I want to speak myself. I realize that there comes an existential moment in time when you must speak for yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. I am tired. I'm so sick and tired of living as a slave in my own country. And I've said this a lot of times, many times, and I'm going to do so many things, so many actions to bring change into this country. We cannot continue to be ruled like this. being ruled by sick people, by mad people, by liars and thieves and criminals. These are the people who are in power in Kenya, in Africa. That is the situation we are living in. That is kind of life we are living in. That's why people are dying and nobody cares. Poor people are suffering, nobody cares. So I don't know what's the role of the government. I don't know. I want to know today what's the role of the government. To protect the people or to kill the people or to make the people suffer. I think we have failed our people. The government has failed. Everybody has failed. We have also failed ourselves. I don't know my concerns. Allow me to keep silent. And at any time, at any moment. I don't know whether this is going to come up anywhere, but we must have this debate. We must have this conversation. We cannot continue living in fear. I see a lot of fear in this country. A lot of fear in the courts. Just yesterday, we saw a magistrate who was shot by a police officer. I want to speak, my dear friends. I want to speak because when you try to tell me to keep silent, my heart is burning. You know, it's burning because of this country. Because for 60 years, we have been living like we are not human beings, like we are half human beings. We are considered like children of a lesser God. Now, this cannot continue. It cannot continue in any way. We are ruled by a minority that does not care for the interests of the majority. Politicians are liars and thieves. And they have stolen our freedom, they have stolen our minds, they have stolen our land, they have stolen our future. Politicians are established in lies and failed promises. We are victims of lies and failed promises.
That is just one person that is boiling. But I can tell you that millions of Africans are boiling on a daily basis. But the one in Nigeria, when it eventually explode, Stone Cold Peter, in another 6 minutes, is on a countdown now, 5 minutes exactly. The mix LR will reset itself. It gives us just about a few hours, but a funny time could be reset array within the next 5 minutes. It will be on. Some of you don't know what is happening. While some of you know, but you're living in denial because you are still enjoying that madness known as Nigeria. But the time is getting closer where, the real owners of the land would ask, what and why we should. Sorry, I just need to, because this person will call again. Why we should never believe that it will not happen in Nigeria. But before it happened in Nigeria, we have been talking about it. So that spirit that is going around is the spirit of the slaves that the West, the Europeans, took away from us, thinking that they are better off than us, thinking that if we do not get to Europe, we cannot succeed as human beings, thinking that until we leave Africa, that is when we can only survive with their own passport and indefinite stay, with their own immigration control. Yet, our resources keep moving. They've now created monsters to bring instability, as we have seen in Nigeria for the past 63 years of that mad country known as Nigeria. That is one of the last empire of the British, of Britain, and that empire will collapse. And it is getting there on a slowly and slowly. In Jesus' name, we will get there. In Chukwuemeka, we will get there. In our own tradition, we will get there. And inshallah, we will get there. With every single one of us preparing our mind for the total collapse of Nigeria so that we can go our separate ways. But like I said, my question I'm asking again is, I'm going to speak a lot of English, so bear with us on this platform this afternoon. And I'm on Yoruba. I might be see me. Because sometimes when I do like that, because I can spot some of my colleagues that you don't know, and I want them to understand what I'm talking about, especially because most of them are still a little bit, they know that Nigeria is a terrorist country. There's no doubt about it. But we need to continue to give them all the reasons why the Yoruba people are campaigning. And happy Sunday. And like I said, we will not be mentioning names because of our time. In 2 minutes, the MixLR will reset itself. Who are the Northerners and how did the Northerners become very powerful in Nigeria? Is because the Yorubas supported that nonsense. The Yorubas that have given the Northerners the leeway by telling them that if we don't mind, we will just be the ones studying and then we will be the accountant stealing the money. But you can be in that position, especially within the military and the security architect of Nigeria, that the British advised them to hold on to for a very long time, because that is one of the most powerful tools. Whoever controls the gun, controls the armory, owns the country. So for a very, very long time, the North were holding on to the armory of Nigeria, from the fighter jet to the helicopter, and they were killing some of us, either through what we called a Jigbo plane crash, when people were massacred and killed by Babangida, or the latest one that you might probably remember, Tolulokpe Arotile. You wonder why they would kill a very young girl like that at 24 years old, because they are bastards, they are not human beings. They wanted to make sure that Tolulokpe Arotile will not come back and become their enemies. So for you, you kill your enemy before your enemy kill you. And that is what they've been doing. Yesterday, we saw how the enemy came out and killed or attacked Amotekun. I don't know whether any of the Amotekun was killed, but what we heard was that the Amotekun was attacked by the, and don't call them bandits. These are full-blown, grown, young Fulani terrorists that have come through from the Sahel, and they are ready to fight till the last blood on their body. While you are saying that you don't want to fight, they are fighting you on a daily basis. They are either fighting you economically by destroying every part of Yoruba land, or they are fighting you with starvation. And that is a deliberate act. But one thing we will not give up is, we will not give up our land to anybody, whether they are Igbos, Hausas, or Lebanese, or Americans, or British. We will be a good neighbor to as many people. We will consider humanity in a country that will respect rule of law. Because some of us that have lived outside Nigeria have benefited from the laws of this country that we are all living. So we are not going to have a country where we will be oyster, where we will not want people to come and live with us. But we will want, and the MixLR have just gone live for those of you that are waiting patiently. Thank you so much. And for those of us that are always thinking that you will not have other ethnic, or if you call them tribes or whatever, indigenous people and foreigner that will live with us, I want you to take away that from your mind. But those people would also be fingerprinted, just like the British government fingerprinted me when I was doing my immigration. We will make sure that every foreigner that wants to live in Yoruba land will be all fingerprinted. If you do not want it, fuck off from our country. We will not even, we will make sure that we put you on that next flight and dump you wherever we think we should dump you. We will take your fingerprint. We will take your facial as well, because we want a country that will be technology, that can be able to protect women and protect innocent children from the monster and pedophiles and criminals that want to live among us. We will also be able to look after ourselves. But one thing I'm asking this afternoon is that, are we now seeing that the Northerners are fed up of Tinubu, or it is not getting there yet? All these will eventually come true. But Tinubu is Jagaban. He knows how to bribe himself. He's also one of the criminals. Nobody can tell me he's not a criminal, because you are a criminal when you receive money from a drug money put into your account. It does not matter. No matter how small the crime is, you are still classified as a criminal. But he knows how he was able to find his way. Had some dealings with the Americans, just like we were told by the former comrade Kunle OLAYOMI, that they were part of the people that went to America to discuss to the American government that Buhari can fix Nigeria. Let us allow Buhari to come and fix Nigeria. Even though Buhari, dead or alive, had many baggage of criminality, but they were able to cover that. But those of our Yoruba brothers, uncles, spoke out when they got tired. If you want me to play a video of him, I will, but I don't have to. I'm sure some of you remember him. He spoke a lot against the evil of Buhari. And if you don't know, Issa Patami, your former I believe was I can't remember his position right now, was one of the criminal terrorists that was taking your data and selling it back to the Fulani terrorists to know who is who. But what we do not know is what kind of dealings as Americans signed with President Bola Tinubu to cover all his shenanigans. Because as much as people wanted to extract who is this man, who is really Tinubu, the Americans said, we can't give you that because we also have interest in Nigeria. If we put that in the public domain, Tinubu will not be your president today. So what they've done is they've actually protected Tinubu. Let me remind you something. Imagine I came to this country, like I said, 24 years ago. It's quite a long time, over 2 decades plus. The British knew the passport and the name I've used to get my visa. And imagine 40 years to come, when I'm now in my 80s, and I want to now apply for something in Nigeria to be your president, as an example. And if that means that I have to tell the British to wipe off all my data, you would never even get to know who really this guy called OLAYOMI KOIKI is. And that is exactly what Tinubu have done. Tinubu has manipulated himself, but that is his own cup of tea. Let him continue to pretend his age is what his age is, but the body will tell him that that is not the real age. But the question I'm asking this afternoon is, would President Bola Tinubu and the Northerners continue to have a cordial relationship? Or will there be a friction and a fight between the two of them? I'm talking about the North and likewise the sorry again. As we know, Tinubu always tell us that he does not believe in one Nigeria. But whatever transpired, whatever changed for Tinubu to believe in one Nigeria shows that he has done some kind of dealings with the West. Thank you so much. The person asking that, you love the shirt. I can't even remember how I got this. As a Yoruba nation, we have so many shirts that were given to us, and some of them are still new in my cupboard, but I just tend to wear whatever I feel comfortable with. But thank you so much. So Tinubu, is not the Tinubu that most of you know, especially he has literally wiped off all his record. Nobody knows who Tinubu is. But that's not where we're going. My question is, àjọṣepọ̀ Tinubu àti àwọn Northerners, the relationship between the two of them started becoming down at the second term of the Olori Buruku Buhari, dead or alive. We saw that Buhari knew what he was doing because Buhari was getting advice from the West and also from the Arab countries, either the one that is called the Money Queen. And please don't tell us that they cannot produce Buhari because it has been done. There's what they call double body. But whatever it is, that person known as Buhari was taking a lot of advice from outside the country, and they knew that Tinubu also had an ambition to be the president. So when Buhari got to power after Tinubu brought him in, we saw that there was a lot of friction, just as we are seeing right now. Tinubu was having uncomfortable with Buhari. But when Buhari knew that he was not going to get the power for the next tenure, after 4 years, ó pe Tinubu wá, ó bá sọ̀rọ̀, ó dọ̀bálẹ̀ fún, ó bẹ̀. Tinubu ní okay. Àdéhùn tá sọ ni pé èmi náà fẹ́ di president. Ìwọ ti ṣe lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ó lulẹ̀. Ó ṣe lẹ́lẹ́kejì ó lulẹ̀. You came the third time and I said, look, politics is not done like that. I will go to Yoruba side and I will convince every one of them to endorse you, even though lẹ́yìn Tinubu ń ṣépè fún Buhari pé you are a Fulani bastard because you knew what I told you, that I want to be president. But Buhari knew that Tinubu would be president, but he was preparing all kind of games around Tinubu as well. But eventually, Tinubu campaigned again. Buhari got their second term. And when Buhari was finishing his tenure, you will expect that transition will go smoothly. Buhari started planning, military coup, like the one he did in the 80s. Because some of you don't even know how Buhari became president. The military man. Buhari was trained in UK, just like many of them. Like I always tell you, in Sandhurst, UK knew almost everything that is happening in Nigeria back to back, more than every single one of us. They have records, they have information, but we would have to be the one to tell them through what we are doing right now that UK does not own Nigeria. UK does not own Yoruba land. They might own the North, and I'm not sure whether the Biafra would even love the British forever, especially after massacring and killing 5 million of their people. That hatred will continue to be between them and the British government. But for the Yorubas, Buhari eventually left, but Tinubu fought hard to get that ticket. We saw all that happen. Tinubu is now the president. After 1 year, it looks like the same thing is rolling back again. The same thing Toshelesi Tinubu pẹ̀lú Buhari is exactly what we're experiencing again today. We are now seeing that Tinubu is saying to the North, well, let me settle down. I have not even settled down. I am still moving. I am still maneuvering around, becoming the president. Let me even enjoy it. But it seems that the North are already fed up of Tinubu. They are like, ó ti débẹ̀ for 1 year. Àdéhùn tó ṣe fáwa náà, má déhùn yẹn ṣe mọ́, because that is exactly what they do. They are all criminals. Whether it's a Yoruba president, whether it's the Northern president, they are all the same. So eventually now, the North are feeling the heat, just as Tinubu was also feeling the heat when Buhari was in power. Now, there is a danger, and that danger might not affect Tinubu, because whether we like it or not, Tinubu will rig, he will pay, he will bribe any guard. Go and ask people that know Tinubu. He's a big time briber. He will bribe anybody to make sure that he gets what he wants. And many people that have worked with him from the Nadeco days, and those that knows him personally, has confirmed this with us, that Tinubu will bribe himself, and he has actually prepared that if the North do not give him the vote that he wants, maybe Tinubu will eventually tell us that exactly what Koiki has been saying and the Yoruba people, a woman charged with the murder following the death of a man. That is UK news. So Tinubu will eventually say to the North, the numbers here, you're lying. The British rigged the first census before the 1960 independent, as they were going into that election. Britain, Lorige. So when some of you say that they have the numbers, Sultan of Sokoto repeated it 4 weeks ago, that bastard Olori Buruku man, that I won't need the majority vote. So how would Tinubu be able to gain enough vote if the North do not go in line with Tinubu in 2027? So Tinubu not prepare-minded. But what we are saying to Tinubu is, you don't have to go and stress yourself. But Tinubu has nothing to lose. This is where we have to be very, very firm with this Yoruba nation that we're for. Because Tinubu will just do whatever he needs to do, still be the president. Then the fear of the unknown is that Tinubu might eventually return power back to the North. And that is where there will be more danger. And this is what we are saying to the people. Love Tinubu, but because he has nothing to lose. How old is Tinubu today? Whatever his age is, by the time, and I believe we've done these statistics before, we on our platform does not believe that Tinubu should be president after 2027. But if you think that it will be, that means Tinubu will complete his tenure at 2031. By that time, his age, like OBJ, it will be weak, not because of anything, it's because of his age. Remember that he has lied on his age. So age don't load the original age. And we all know that people use football age. So Tinubu is using another fake age. But what you need to understand is that the Yorubas that are now saying, we want to enjoy Tinubu. You guys, please give Tinubu a breathing space. No, it's not about giving Tinubu a breathing space. Tinubu should roko sodowa, yes, do as much as what it can do with the Nigerian money, because that is what the North has done. Use the wealth that Nigeria owns right now to build more infrastructure to Yoruba land. Do the same thing that the Northerners have done. Invest in Yoruba land, build as much, and then go back. And if you say, Koiki, go back and read what that Fulani bastard that was working Buhari, that is on the Twitter, Ahmed, is one of their, I remember his name now, very popular on the social media. He actually listed every goddamn project completed, 60% to be completed, 30% that Buhari did to the North. This was a conversation when they were talking about, if the Nigeria breaks today, are the North ready? Yes, the North are fully ready. But they don't want Nigeria to break because they want to go for another term. And that is where the danger will be. Tinubu used the Yoruba Nation campaign that we have pushed to slow things down from his own end. But we have been the one to have slowed the death of many Yoruba people, because that is what Sunday Igboho stands for. Many of you would have been massacred and killed like pigs. You might not know, and I'm not going to go into all the details because these are classified information. And don't tell me to reveal it. You'll be bastard to tell me to reveal it. I'm not going to reveal it because America does not tell me what is happening between them around the world. But one thing you need to understand is that Igboho stopped the massacre of the Yoruba people from the North. Their plan was bigger than what most of you do not understand. So, Tinubu Sheton and give the power back to the North, they would then have more access. Right now, let me explain how things work right now. The armory of Nigeria is no longer in care of the North. They have the one that they've stolen, that they've kept, and they are giving to the Fulani terrorists to kill as many of you in small bits. But when we're talking about the bigger catchment of the military catchment, is no longer in the hands of the Fulani anymore. Or Tinubu what they say. So Tinubu is not giving them access to that armory as they used to have it before. And now, if Tinubu leaves the office, the North will control back again that armory. Not just that alone, their agenda will be fulfilled within a space of time. And this is where Yoruba people needs to wake up. Let Tinubu look after you, but also tell Tinubu to dissolve Nigeria for the benefit of every one of us. Let's go and read a little bit about the northern region of Nigeria. The northern region was an autonomous division within Nigeria, distinctly different from the southern part of the country, with independent custom, foreign relation, and security structures. In 1962, it acquired the territory of the British Northern Cameroons, which voted to become a province within northern Nigeria. Let's go into a bit of history. The Nok culture and Asian culture dominated most of what is now northern Nigeria. In the prehistoric times, its legacy in the form of terracotta statues, megaliths, have been discovered in Sokoto State, Kano State, Birini, Kudu, Nok, and Zaria. The Kwatakwashi culture, a variant of the Nok culture centered mostly around Zamfara in Sokoto province, is thought by some to be the same or an offshoot of the Nok. N-O-K. The 14 kingdoms unified the diverse lore and heritage of the northern Nigeria into cohesive ethno-historical system. 7 of these kingdoms developed from the Kabara legacy of the Hausa people. As we know today, there's nothing known as Hausa anymore. The Hausa has been taken out of the picture. So if you're thinking that the North is Hausa, no. They are now more Fulanis in their power. Yeah, they are still the Alimajiri that are Hausas. Those ones are the Alimajiris. But the real people controlling the power are the Fulanis. They've killed, they've manipulated their way in, and they've taken out the Hausa. So I will not control not. The 14 kingdoms unify the diverse law and heritage of the northern Nigeria into cohesive ethno-historical system. 7 of these kingdoms developed from the Kabara legacy of the Hausa people. And who are the Hausa people? The Hausa are a native ethnic group in the West Africa. They speak Hausa language, which is the second most spoken language after Arabic. And that is why an Hausa man always feel comfortable to travel to Sudan, where they can speak their language. They prefer to go to Turkey for education. And likewise, you will find them in Qatar, you will find them in Saudi Arabia, where they are much more comfortable than traveling to Europe, where the Yorubas and the Igbos would do. The Hausa are culturally homogeneous people based in primarily the Sahelian. But what do we know? That in the 9th century, we are currently in the 21st century. So Nigba Akonri need the 9th century as a vibrant trading centers competing with Kani Bone and the Mali slowly developed in the central Sudan. A collection of kingdoms merge. The Hausa kingdoms or the Hausa Bakawi dominated the great savanna plains of Hausa land. This is when there was still Hausa land. There's nothing called Hausa land anymore. It is now Fulani land because the Fulani are the one in charge of the majority of the most important sector in that part of Nigeria today. Their primary exports were leather, gold, cloth, salt, kola nut, animal eats, and hyena. The 7 Hausa states include Daura 1806. There was nothing known as Nigeria as at 1806. The whole picture of Nigeria started in 1914, fraudulently carved together. It has expired 14 years ago. But the Yorubas elders are thinking that we can still manage Nigeria, even though everybody is now in danger. The Igbos are also thinking that they can manage Nigeria. Not all of them, but some of them also believe that they can manage Nigeria, but everybody is in danger. And that danger is approaching on a daily basis. Nigeria was a project. That project has expired. We should come on the round table and discuss the way forward. If not, we will use induce abere tonkpeni epidoria láti fi gún Nigeria, and the new children will be born, which are Yoruba nation and all other nations that will come out of it. In Kano, these are the 7 Hausa states, as we know, before all this madness of 36 states and telling us that they have more numbers and more seats in the National Assembly. These are what the fraud created by the West. Kano 1807, Castina 1805, Zazu 1808, Gobi 1808, Rano and Biran. The growth and the conquest of the Hausa Bakwa resulted in the founding of additional states, with rulers tracing their lineage to the concubine of the Hausa founding father, Bayajida. Bayajida was, according to the legend, surrounding most West African states before the 19th century, the founder of the Hausa state. Thus, they are called Banza Bakwa. Hausa Kingdom, also known as Hausa Kingdom or Hausa land, was a collection of states ruled by the Hausa people. As of today, Hausa people are no longer ruling. Go and ask Ganduje, the criminal Gandola, the current APC chairman. Imusi Tinubu lenyini. They can't wait for Tinubu to go, and their vision and mission will now be completed across all other states, including the Yoruba land. And you can say they play. It is just a matter of time that every one of us will be captured. God will not give them that. because we are still alive, and we will fight to make sure that that doesn't happen in our own era. People have tolerated that nonsense in their own era, especially anyone that are in their 60s, still telling you one Nigeria. They are bastard elder people. They should not be talking about one Nigeria anymore. But they failed us. What are you looking for? They failed every single one of us. So we that do not understand what Nigeria is all about, we are the one that needs to make the push. Don't expect people that are in their 70s, if they're talking about one Nigeria, they have dementias. If they're in their 80s, forget it, they lost it. But anybody that is 60 years old, a woman or man telling you about one Nigeria, they are all criminals. They should be stoned to death. Let's continue. So, later on, other states, but I'm just giving you the background picture of these people. So, there was also the Banza Bakwa adopted many of the customs and institutions of the Hausa Bakiwi, but were considered unsanctioned or copycat kingdoms by the non-Hausa people. This state includes Zamfara, Kebbi, Yuri, also called Yauri, Gawari, also called Gawari land, Kawarafa, a Jukun state, Nupe, mainly, where is presently called Niger State today. Hausa state. Between 500 and 700 Hausa people who are thought to have slowly moved from Nubia and mixing with the local northern population established a number of strong states in what is now called the northern Nigeria and the eastern Niger. With the decline of the Nok and the Sokoto, who had previously controlled the central and the northern Nigeria between 800 BCE and 200, the Hausa were able to emerge as the new power in the region. I want you to listen to that very well. There's another new power that wants to come out, which is the Fulani. They are pushing it slowly. They are using politics to deceive our criminal politicians that are bastard. Where's Ajimobi? He's dead. Where is Buruji Kashamu? Dead. They're gone. But while they were alive, they were licking the ass of those people. Because Ajimobi, if I'm right, got a yes. Thank you, my beautiful handsome. Awusa, can somebody remind me? She Okunriniti Ajimobi Abobirin. Because I know that Ajimobi went to the north to marry somebody. I'm sure some of you remember that. I can't remember whether Ajimobi was the female or the male. If you remember, please help me just on the comment section quickly. Where are we now? So between 800 BCE and 200, the Hausa were able to emerge as the new power in the region. But Lenny Nisi, we are seeing more of the other Fulanis. They are moving gradually, slowly, getting involved in the political of a country that they were not part of in the first place. They are becoming very powerful. They have money. They are using their wealth to Ajimobi was, the son. Thank you so much. So Ajimobi's son was given a wife in the north because they had a mission. They didn't know that Ajimobi was going to die. Eventually, the creator said it was time for him to go. So what you are seeing in Yoruba land today, especially when they're exchanging these Hausa, Fulani, they're not Hausa, they are Fulanis. Those female, mostly because of our south, because we love them, Abi, because of their hair. So most, you will see, I think Olowa, whatever that other Amugbo king, also was the same thing. Okay, it was Ganjude's daughter. Okay, I didn't even know anymore. So Ajimobi got married to Ganjude. It is not for the interest of me and you. It is because these are part of the plan. These bastard Yoruba politicians care less about me and you. The Ajimobi children are still enjoying today. They live in a condition, they drive good cars. Why you, as Oyo citizen, or Ibadan citizen, or Oyo, because Ajimobi was the governor in Oyo State, your life is still miserable even after the death of Ajimobi. So Ajimobi's son is married to Ganjude's daughter. My backup team have just, updated as well. So you can see that, and Ganjude is not Hausa. Go and, 1 minute. Ganduje is, I'm just going to type on Google, Ganduje, the APC chairman that has a mission. Do you know that their mission has been going for years? You will always hear Ganduje say he studied at the University of Ibadan. These are all things that they've planned long time ago. I am not making this up. Gbogbo ta ṣe ń gbọ́ lẹ́ni, ó wá kàwé nílẹ̀ Hausa, ní ilẹ̀ Yoruba. It is part of the plan. So that we will feel like they are part of. How do you expect me now to say, Ganduje is not part of us? Ó kàwé ní University of Ibadan. Kódà, ó gbọ́ Yoruba ju èmi gan lọ. This is what people do. Look, the Americans know that there are many terrorists in their country right now. Getting married, having children, going to office like a normal people. But they are not going to strike until the next 20 years. They are not going to strike until the next 30 years. American government knows them. The same thing here in UK and many European countries. They are known as sleeper cells. So people like Ganduje have been a sleeper cells within the Yoruba land, but we did not know. Because as far as we know, he just got into Yoruba land. He was studying there as a student, and eventually some Yoruba saw him as another messiah to work with because ọ̀rọ̀ wọn yéra wọn. But what do you think Ganduje will eventually do when Ganduje, has access to become the president? He's not an Hausa man. Let's read a little bit about him. Ganduje was born in 1949 to a Fulani family in a village of Ganduje, Dawakin, Tofa local government area of Kano State. You've never heard that before. That man, Ganduje, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, is a, yes, I should go to Yami Comfort, Ologunja. Ajimobi only son. Imagine his only son. Kini Adehun Tojoni. What was the secret that Ajimobi was able to sacrifice his only son to go and marry somebody in the north so that vision will continue? Because all these Yoruba elites that you call them, they've all sold out already. So now we are having Yoruba Fulani, according to my mother and the grandmother Eshegoni. Waris Jinori say it is all strategic and positioning, of course. Blood infiltration. So Tebansor and saying, and Jim will be saying, shut up, Koiki, you are mad. How can you be talking to Fulani people like that? You know why? Because what is John Shea Kiboroki? What am I bimo? Do you know that Ajimobi's son, married to a Fulani, will be your governor very soon, within the next 20 years? And you have no right to stop him. Or Ajimobi, let's use Ajimobi now and the son, not Ajimobi. Ajimobi don't die, he don't die. Ajimobi's son will be anybody that kawa sọ pé ọmọ ò lè jẹ governor l'Ọ̀yọ́ state. A máa bí pé why? Bàbá òun Ọ̀yọ́ ni, orí òun Ọ̀yọ́ ló sọ sí. But your wife is Fulani, ani kò matter. Ó ti fẹ́ òun, ó ti dára wa. A gbọ́dọ̀ accept it. You can see that this agenda is not today. We didn't know before. I'm being honest. I didn't know as well all these. But going back to what is their agenda? They are not fighting us with gun alone. They are fighting us with humans, because they've given their daughter I don't know whether it's Ganduje's first daughter as well or the last one, but the one that is virgin, they've given it to another virgin. I don't know. And right now, how do you think that they are not fighting us? They are already fighting us strategically. They are not using gun alone to fight us. They are also using humans to prepare the ground. And as Tinubu is completing his tenure, Ganduje, that is the chairman, is also positioning himself either as Southwest, because his daughter will give children. I don't know whether they've given birth. That means their children, Ganduje grandchildren, must be given the same privilege as the Yoruba man. So when most of you are fighting the Igbo, which I am not here to defend, like I always say, remember that we have already Fulani children that we will have to fight in the future. Big time. Àwọn ọmọ wọn lọ́jọ́ iwájú wá ṣẹ́ra àwọn ọmọ tẹ́mi bí sí bíbà pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ tí wọ́n yẹn wọ́n máa jà gan lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Mo kí gbogbo, I will not be mentioning name, but mo rí gbogbo yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Keep the comment coming. I'll be picking the chat as we go into the program. And this is where we must now start asking questions. Do you know that? Let me bring it back to the UK, for example. Do you know that Nigel Farage is a nationalist party? They are known as Reformed Party. Do you know what he said? That he will stinge every Labour Party candidate in the near future for more people to support his agenda for a true nationalist as a British, as against the Labour and the Conservative agenda. But today, again, I've been told that Olowo of Owu, one of the ancient towns in Yoruba land, married a Fulani, so we can in the future have a Yoruba Fulani king. But it doesn't matter because we just want to survive today, but we are not talking about the future. So let's continue. Thank you so much. Keep the comment coming. Thank you so much, Clement. And shout out to every single one of you silently, and those of you that are putting a comment. If you help us to share the program, and also thumbs up, because we're not getting enough of you helping us to thumbs up. Right now we have 141 watching, only 28 of you. You sometimes forgot. Well, we just remind you. That's on the Koikimedia. On our backup channel, I have 75 of you watching. I can see you, but only 11 of you I say, Koiki, thanks so much for the job you're doing. So Abolaji Ajimobi, Wet Fatima Ganduje. Interesting time ahead. So Ejo, you have to come out of the comment section to be able to do the thumbs up. It just helped the platform, especially with the algorithm, with the YouTube. So let me finish with Gan. So we know now that Ganduje is a Fulani man. He might speak Yoruba very well. Yes, he studied in Ibadan. But he's not a Yoruba man. He's not Hausa. And he was able to become, if Ganduje was able to become the governor, are you not thinking that he's also having an ambition like Tinubu to become the president? So Mombere Lenkon saying, is there a friction between Tinubu and the North right now? And what is Tinubu thinking? What is his own strategy? Is this just a strategy to win the next election and then abandon any of us, including those of you that love him, that supported him and voted for him during that election last year? I want Tinubu to put more infrastructure in Yoruba land. There's nothing wrong in that. But Inje Efeki Tinubu ko andowa padasi not. Is that the future that we want now? So that we can save Nigeria and love Nigeria? Since we don't know the agenda of every single pointer, like we are giving you with evidence. Because I am not making this up. It is evidence-based that Abdullahi Umar Ganduje gave the daughter to a Yoruba man. There's nothing wrong in that. People can say they find love. No, they didn't find love. These were parents forcing them to marry each other. They will not tell you this. A man and a woman charged with a murder after a 14-year-old girl was, I don't know what happened next. Sheripe, we have a lot of work to do. And that work starts now. Not tomorrow. Now. So, vote for Tinubu. Those of you that voted for Tinubu, which is your fundamental right, your civic right. If you not vote, if you want to vote, there's no problem. But what exactly do you want out of Tinubu? Is it just for Tinubu to fix Nigeria, which he will not be able to, or add more value to Yoruba land, or not, since he has completed and satisfied his own ambition? Happy Sunday to every one of you that have joined us. Don't let me mention names, like I said. We know what we want, and that is why we are pleading with our elders in Yoruba land. I'm begging Tinubu and Wapada for not. I'm begging Ashako. We are pleading with you. Moki our family, moki our in-laws, moki momsi, moki Professor Banja Kitoye, the true leader of the Yoruba self-determination. Moki Oloye Omade Yemosonde Gbowosha. We love both of them, and we will continue to appreciate them during this our era that two people stood up to say enough of the Fulani invasion in the Yoruba land. What do we want out of President Tinubu after he has completed whatever the tenure that he has? What do we want out of him? A very good afternoon and a happy Sunday. He began his early education in a Quranic and Islamic school at his village, Ganduje, where he was trained in Islamic knowledge. But they have to make sure that he will not just come and tell Yoruba people that I am an Islamic scholar. No. They sent him to the southwest to study. Go to University of Ibadan. This was all planned ahead. How many of you know CIA? We've had all kind of true story about how CIA will get married to people, they will pregnate that woman, they will be sleeping with her, they will have children, but yet they are spy. So why are we making it look like in it is not the reality? CIA, one of the most, not one, we have the Russian one as well, the KGB, and they all have it. The UK has it as well. That they will infiltrate people, and that person's mission is to be there until forever. Even sometimes they will die along the line, and they will bury them, and that will be the end of them. So what is giving you the impression that Ganduje was not a CIA? I'm not talking about the one that they say Obasanjo is the CIA, or even Tinubu is the CIA, but I'm talking about Ganduje, because Yami Comfort says Tinubu should dissolve this rubbish Nigeria, please. That is why we are pleading with all our elders. Àwọn àgbààgbà tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá títí di wákàtí. À ń bẹ̀ yín ni. A fi gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ ní pátápátá la fi ń bẹ̀ yín pé kẹ́ jọ̀ọ́. Ẹ bá wa pé President Bola Ahmed Tinubu pé kó jọ̀ọ́ kó má dá wa padà sọ́dọ̀ àwọn Northerners. Because, like I said, the eastern part of Nigeria has been cut out completely. They're not going to give them any presidency. Ganduje sọ fún wọn pé if they want to be president, they have to join them. If Wike likes, let him steal as much money. He will not. Peter Obi will never be the president. He's wasting his time. There's no amount of your vote that would determine an election in Nigeria. Maybe I should tell you that now. It's coming up to exactly 18 minutes past 5 p.m. or 18 minutes past 1700 hours. There is no amount of your vote as of today, as they are putting in the support for Koikimedia. I am the one that endorse it. You are the one that will say, Koiki, we're not going to give you anything, or we will support you because of the work you're doing, since you are not working as a freelance journalist, working tirelessly for the Yoruba nation. And like I always say, we love and appreciate every donation, no matter how small. It goes a long way to support me with my family. And also, I mean, my wife was telling me the other day that, why are you not going to number 10 Downing Street? I said, I am not being paid as much as I want to think. The BBC guys that are there, only God knows how much they are paying each one of them. But I do appreciate every one of you that have stood with me and saying that we will help you. So let's move swiftly. Now, we've done about 1 hour, 18 minutes, and I've not even taken you to where we want to go. Where actually do we want to go? Let's go back to what Shehu Sani told us. Moshimberi Beri is a question. Help me to answer as much as you can in the comment section. I'll promise you I will read some of them out so that you are not left alone. We are not using a software like I can pin your, like the others does. I'm using a mobile phone. As you can see, it's a mobile studio. At the moment, my laptop that we use, my son is using it for some 1 or 2 projects that he's doing. And I don't have, and those that laptop are not strong to run the multiple broadcasts together. And I only have one. If we have more money in the future, we will have multiple ones. But mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin grandma tẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa, ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń tẹ̀lé wa lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. We love you, we appreciate you, and we can never forget everyone that have been part of this movement. We are all putting down something, and the future will remember every one of us. So please share the program. Mr. Femi Olani, even if before Tinubu tenure completion, Yoruba must have moved out, which is part of our prayer. You also went to say this is a serious issue that should be treated as a red line to move Yoruba nation out of the danger now. Yawa Dukpa Bolani, Yoruba nation is the only way out. Keep the comment flowing. I'll read your comment. I can assure you that. Amokibu sisters me. My beautiful sister, Titi Layo, Farombi, Morini, thank you so much. And we love you. We appreciate every single one of you. So when we say we love them, don't start thinking the other way around. I have enough in my bag that I'm looking after, and they're looking after me. But we love our sisters. They're very beautiful. Some of them are not in Nigeria. Why those of you in Nigeria? Yawa Kwankwe Milati, Germany. She went to Nigeria in March. She came back, and she was very bitter and concerned when she spoke to me this afternoon. She said, Yomi, this is your first time of joining us online. Thank you so much, Mr. Olayin Kus Eshegoni. And we love you, appreciate you, and we hope you keep it clean. If you're one Nigeria, please be very careful. We are not here for one Nigeria. We're here for the breakup of Nigeria. We don't have any business with Nigeria. Nigeria has done so bad on us. And when my mother spoke to me, she said she's very, very bitter that she was in Ibadan most of her time, and she saw how our beautiful sisters have now turned into what I don't want to call them. And we all know what that means. She also talked about the young men, they're all in drugs. She was mentioning a few other things that I probably just don't want to say it now, because we know that most of those that we call businessmen, businesswomen in Nigeria, they're all involved in one kind of thing or the other that are destroying the society. Let me give you, I typed in Shehu Sani and Tinubu on Google, and it came back with about good numbers of results. And I'm going to just give you some of the headline, and we will read through some of them. Why I'm trying to ask the question is, since the Tinubu Makwe, there's a friction between him and the North, whether to stop Tinubu. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Abedin 77 says, I am joining you for the second time. And we love you as you're all joining. You know, we have all loved Nigeria at one point, but the true picture is we are not Nigerians, and we got to be making that clear. British do join Gbogbo Apapo. Yawa Comfort Ologujani. Tinubu is the last card before the Nigeria upcoming terrible disaster. Shout out to you, Just Raising and Bugbainti, and comment. Keep it coming. I'll read it as I just want to crack on quickly. And when the tempo goes down, I'll lay my chef. But for now, we're very serious, you know, and I don't want people to come on the platform and think that I can share any by. Okay, DM also says this, I mean, he's joining us for the first time. I want to join us for the first time. Let's appreciate them. Look, nobody blames you if you have supported APC or PDP or Showore or Labour Party. You know, we're not here to blame you. We're not here to castigate you. You know, look, it was your right to do it as at the time. But there's no election that you would do in Nigeria that will give you a clear result, because those elections are rigged by INEC. And it is not the first time. British rigged the first election in 1959 when they were contesting for the election of 1960. So Mukibu Bwele and settle down into the program. Edebawa, make sure we get thumbs up and get your notification bell on. I don't have a timing that I come out, but each time I go out, people will come in, and sometimes people will watch it as a repeated program. The one we did yesterday is gained about over 5,000 on one of my page. It shows, like the Bishop Additional said, people are watching your Koiki. They are downloading it. Brother me concern voice concern me. Only be on Konibadon, which a man Koiki. Amangbo Koiki. Amo, you know what they will say. I'm sure you all know. They don't want to agree. They ba ting bowa kini ko ye yin níbẹ̀. A comment. Kájọ béèrè lọ́wọ́ ara wa. Oh, ṣé torí mo ṣe ń bọ́ àwọn governors yìí, ìyẹn ló ń dùn yín lọ́kàn. Ẹ má yẹn kó dùn yín. These are criminals. Criminal ni wọ́n. So ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa, tẹ́ ń bínú sí wa, ẹ má bínú sí wa. Ẹ má wo tèmi. 1998 mo ti kúrò Nàìjíríà. Mo mọ date tí mo land sí Gatwick Airport. Visa dẹ̀ mo gbà wọlé. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wọ̀ ráyè wọlé bí mi ṣe wọlé. Orí omi ló gbà dé bíbà. Èyí tí màmá tèmi rí tó fi gbé mi kúrò Nàìjíríà, lẹ́yìn ṣe ń rí nísìn. I don't think maybe some of you understand that. What my mom saw 24 years ago tó gbé mi kúrò Nàìjíríà, òun làwa ṣe ń rí nísìn. Because she saw it clearly. Because I asked my mom why she decided to leave Nigeria. Because when she left Nigeria, we were young. Although I was in secondary school. But she had to do it then so that kebi ma ba power, kiya ma ba jewa. And I remember each time, Emma Binupe, I have to just, because some of you that are thinking, hey, she today in London. Yes, today in London. That's not my problem. That is your own problem with your parents that did not see the vision that Nigeria was going dead. Because Igbanya on Yoshin Rowo, time Mom City was traveled out of the UK, out of Nigeria in the 90s. Ni Mom City not the Kurone. Or was she run in the country a dear. But any Tony brain, don't calculate. Space dollar fin to fin change. Loba Mom City lero pe. Kilon shele. What's going on? The rate that the dollar was moving, Koiti was 40 naira. So when you come here and you think that, oh, she to one London, problem to me koni eh. Ti won about to buy mom say move wá sí UK ni. Ìwọ náà wá ṣe kíni, wá ti bímọ sí bíbá. Mom say mo fẹ́ ká bímọ sọ́hun lọ ṣe gbé mi kúrò Nigeria. Because she worked out everything. So don't blame yourself as well. Let's just blame how the system was structured by British. Ó tẹ́ kẹ́ máa dúpẹ́ pé mi wà láàrin wọn mo tún pariwo báyìí. Frank Bello, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi náà lọ ṣìjẹ. Ó ti pè mí rí. Òun àtàntì wọn l'Amẹ́ríkà pé kí n wà very careful bí ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀, especially bí ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ sáwọn royal father wọn ní àwọn royal institution ní bíbá. Pé ṣé mo rántí pé bíbá ni mò ń gbé. Even though you would think that àwọn ní wọ́n ní voice. Lóòótọ́ bíbá ni mò ń gbé pẹ̀lú wọn, but ṣé nǹkan tó ṣe fún wa ṣó right ni? We are not here talking about terrorism. We are here talking about our future. Future àwọn òyìnbó ní Niger Farage ń jà fún. And I can bet you within the next 20 years in this country, Reform Party, a lé Conservative léré, a lé Labour Party léré. Because àwọn òyìnbó yẹn, they are fed up. They are fed up of many of us. Wọ́n ní choice in it. Nigel Farage, oh no, man, make sure pé òun stingy gbogbo Labour Party ibi tó ní gbogbo ẹ̀ka sí lẹ́sìn. He had about 5 people tó wọlé. Ṣé mọ̀ pé Nigel Farage has been trying to become the MP in this country for the last 8 years. Kò wọlé. Kí lẹ rò pé wá dé tó fi vote fún nísìn? Because àwọn òyìnbó ti sú wọn. They are tired of the shenanigans táwọn tó jẹ́ Labour àti Conservative ń ṣe. So tẹ́ bá wá síbí bàtà tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀, tẹ́ máa rò pé kí ló dé tó lè ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí? Àánú ara wa la jọ ń ṣe. Mò ń ṣàánú yín, ẹ̀yin náà ń ṣàánú mi. Ìyàn bí méjì ti send message sí mi lẹ́nìí, àwọn onídòwó. Mo sọ fún wọn point blank pé mo lówó tí mo lè fún wọn, mo sorry but in a good way. Ìyàn mélòó mo fẹ́ máa fún lówó? Mo ti fún gbogbo family mi gan lówó nílé ni. So the fight tá ń jà fún nísìn, fight fún ìran wa là ń jà fún. Ìyẹn gógó lẹ́kẹ̀ẹ́ dìmú. Yé ṣe Koiki, kí ló ṣe Koiki tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí? No. We are all fighting for something. Ààrẹ tí gbébọn, ààrẹ gbàdúrà ká gbébọn. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń bẹ̀ wọ́n. Ẹ pé mo tún jáde nísìn, mo tún bẹ̀ wọ́n. Ẹ bá wa bá Tinubu sọ̀rọ̀ kó má fi tiẹ̀ kó bá wa because Tinubu máa sá kúrò Nàìjíríà náà ni tó bá di wàhálà. The president will be taken out of the country. Tó bá tẹ̀ pa gan sef. Tó bá dẹ̀ parí program tiẹ̀ náà tó ojú tó fẹ́ lọ yọbọ́ níbẹ̀ nísìn, tó bá yọjú ẹ̀bọ̀ tán níbẹ̀ nísìn, kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Ọdún mélòó ló kù fún Tinubu? Mo fún ní 60 years sí. À ń sọ̀rọ̀ future wa, ẹ̀yin sọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu. So yẹn la ṣe ń bẹ̀ kọ́lọ́n kó sí nínú tó bá gbọ́. Kó pín Nàìjíríà, kó lúkálukú máa lọ. Ẹ lọ wo program tí mo ṣe láàárọ̀ yìí, 1 hour ni, ẹ lè sáré wò tá bá parí eléyìí. Oríṣiríṣi option la gbé sórí table pé ó lè lo Ọọ̀ni of Ifẹ̀ gan kó fi lọ push fún King Charles pé a fẹ́ pín Nàìjíríà. Because tí ó bá gbé Ọọ̀ni dìde, àwọn kan ní ọmọ Tinubu lè Ọọ̀ni kò mátà. Ọmọ náà la máa rán síná. Ọọ̀ni ò gbọdọ̀ jáde nísìn kí King Charles náà wò ní fún láyè kó wá báwọn sọ̀rọ̀. Ta ni King Charles? Ọọ̀ni là ń sọ̀rọ̀. Ta ni King Charles? Ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá gbọdọ̀ sọ pé òun fẹ́ bá King Charles sọ̀rọ̀ kó sọ pé kò sáyè. Kó wá announce Yorùbá nation káyọ̀ wá kólúkálukú máa lọ. Àwọn bá lè announce now. Tí Ọọ̀ni bá jáde tó bá announce Yorùbá nation wọ́n bí Sultan of Sokoto kó sọ pé no. So let us get the fact. Tẹ́ bá ń bínú sí Koiki, èmi kọ́ lẹ kẹ́ máa bínú sí. Ẹ máa bínú síra yín. So let's come back to the program. Shehu Sani, ó fẹ́ àwọn kankan, ó fi wọ̀n wá. But ẹ mọ̀ pé mo ò tí ì ṣe analysis bíbá rí fún wa. So ó ní fídíò kan tèmi náà kàn gbọ́ ni. Ọmọ Ìgbò ni. Ó ní ṣé kò tán yín nísìn. Ṣèbẹ́yìn lẹ́ ń support àwọn Haúsá nísìn náà wá fi support Tinubu. Ó wá dìjà láàrin àwa méjèèjì. Àwọn Ìgbò wọ́n fi wá rẹ́rìn. Wọ́n fi wá rẹ́rìn ni. Because Yoruba people are the one holding Nigeria together. Ẹ lè come out tó ṣe pé nígbà kan rí, àsọ nígbà kan rí, nísìn là ń sọ, ẹ má wá fún mi ní history kan rí. History tèmi ò mọ̀ nípa ẹ̀. A kò gbọ́ ni. Because people will always come and say, àwọn Igbo lè kọ́ ti ṣe. No, à ń sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn. Ṣé Yorùbá kọ́ ló ń di Nàìjíríà mú? Àwa là ń di Nàìjíríà. We are the one holding Nigeria. We are the one holding that country together. And Tinubu is part of the person holding it together. Tinubu lè bá gbogbo àwọn governors sọ̀rọ̀ kó gbọ́ sí lẹ́nu. Abẹ́ Tinubu ni gbogbo àwọn governors wà. Even Seyi Makinde. He can have a discussion with them. Ó lè bá àwọn ọba wa sọ̀rọ̀ kó gbọ́ sí lẹ́nu. But fear tiwa ni pé ṣé tí Tinubu ò bá lọ ṣe gbogbo tá à ń sọ yìí, a gbàdúrà kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Àdúrà tá à ń gbà ni pé kí Tinubu rí ṣe kó break ẹ̀ kó jẹ́ the last president. But if that does not happen, in terms of calm down ni o, 1 year ti pé bí a torí pé irú èmi tí mo ó pẹ́ kí n tó gba ìwé mi nílùú yìí. Èmi ò ń wo excuse me. Èmi ò ń wo ọjọ́ pọ̀ ó máa ń pẹ́ 15 years ló take kí British tó dá mi lóhùn. I keep telling you all the time. So èyí tẹ́ máa sọ pé ọjọ́ yẹn máa pẹ́ ká tó ṣẹ́jú ká tó ṣe pẹ́ ìjọba Tinubu máa tán pátápátá ọdún 7 ni ọdún 4 ni it will be completed. Ǹjẹ́ tí ń ronú sí nǹkan tó lè lọ ṣẹlẹ̀ after that? Àbẹ́kọ̀ rò pé àwọn not prepare. Ṣé Montero fine prepare for one? We don't know. We don't know what Atiku is preparing. Òun lówó bó wọn tẹ̀ lọ́mọ, ó lè push kan nú wọn. Wọ́n lówó, wọ́n ní gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́, wọ́n ní connection níta. So this is not the time for Tinubu to be messing around. This is the time to be on the ọ̀rọ̀ fix economy Nigeria kọ́ là ń sọ money sí. Ọ̀rẹ́ ìbò ló ti fẹ́ fix it. He's just burning his time for nonsense. What Tinubu should be putting on the agenda is, do we want to be one? Ẹ tẹ́ wá lórí Instagram Koikimedia ẹ lọ darapọ̀, mo fẹ́ play video kan jáde nísìn. Mo fẹ́ sáré fi video ìwọlé ẹ lọ darapọ̀ live torí Olayomi Koiki ìyẹn à ń kọ́tẹ̀ lórí Instagram. Ẹ má bínú sí mi, I have to go on that. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ gbọ́ video yìí. Àgbákòbá ó ń bi Tinubu pé, do we want to be one? And if we are going to be one, under what terms and conditions do we want to be one? Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ nǹkan tó sọ níbí báyìí ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú láti sọ ntí Shehu Sani all what he said. Let's listen to Agbakoba in this interview that he granted. Let's listen to him.
President Tinubu needs to put his best foot forward to govern the country. If he does that, in 4 years, he can turn things around. But there are certain critical things he would need to do. The first thing is to say, what's the constitution? If, for instance, me and my wife Lillian don't agree in our marriage of 45 years, then we can't do anything. So the first thing that President Tinubu would need to do is to ensure that Nigerians all agree to be one country. You recall that Bolaige asked those two questions. Do we want to be one? It's not by force. If we want to be one, how? We haven't answered those questions, which is why I told President Akpabio of the Senate that it has taken 23 years to solve the problem of the Constitution. And I urged him, in conjunction with President Tinubu, to resolve the Nigerian constitutional question now by inviting the owners of Nigeria. The owners of Nigeria, mark you, were those who owned Nigeria before Lugard brought his amalgamation in 1914. Call them in. These are the people who own the country, and ask them questions. What do you want to see of the Constitution? Because without a Constitution, we're going nowhere. And no one will doubt the fact that the Constitution bequeathed by the military in 1999 is unsatisfactory. You can't build anything out of a weak foundation. The economic development policy of President Tinubu, the political development policy of President Tinubu, and everything else he wants to do rests on a very solid foundation. So let him immediately resolve that. How can we spend 23 years looking for a foundation for building a house? Does that make sense to anybody? So that's my number one issue. We need to resolve this issue of, do we want to be one? And mark you, the flip side of the question is that we mustn't be one, because Yugoslavia, which was 6 countries under Marshal Tito, when he died, decided to break apart. And today, a lot of them are very strong countries: Macedonia, Croatia, Slovenia, Slovakia. They're all doing well. So there is no sacrosanctity about Nigeria being one country. There's none. I personally would wish for Nigeria to be one country, but we must agree. Now, that is the problem. Because we have not agreed, and because the National Assembly has appropriated to itself the all-knowing wisdom of giving us a constitution, that is the weakness. So that's the starting point.
Let's listen to another one as well. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí tí ẹ̀ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí ìkànnì wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ this one as well.
Very clear. We made a declaration saying that it's too late for restructuring in Nigeria. You will remember in 1962, there was a massive problem in Nigeria when Awolowo was arrested. Our people talked to us. There was crisis for over 4 years that led to the coup. There was a Yoruba meeting of elders called the Yoruba Leaders of Thought. We relented. the thing continued. Yoruba has continued to lose ground since that time. In 1993, there was the annulment of the June 12 election. Shiju Ade, the former Oni, spoke and said Yoruba should go ahead and conduct an election. We did. It led to nothing. The same thing happened in 1998, just before the handover to the democratic elected government. Yoruba did not want to go for anything like Nigeria again. But then it failed. Look at where we are. Yoruba has been losing ground since 1914, and we are just tired. We are done for restructuring. It's too late for restructuring in Nigeria. It's too late for sovereign national conference. It's too late for resource control. What we want now is Oduduwa Republic. And we are very categorical about that. We have made that very clear. We have made declarations, and we are very serious about our demands. Every region just go to its own tent. Yoruba wants to be on its own because the problem that Yoruba has is Nigeria. Nigeria is the problem, is the impediment to Yoruba development. Is the impediment to Oduduwa development. Without Nigeria, we won't be where we are. 1962, we were far ahead of South Korea and North Korea. We were far ahead of China even. We had television before France. We had radio before South Africa. Now look at where we are today. I think it's a shame that even any Yoruba man can be talking about restructuring at this point in time. What are we restructuring? This country that is already shot to pieces? I don't think that's what we want. But they are always talking about giving Nigeria a chance. The patience of Yoruba with Nigeria has come to an end.
And let's listen to one more before we kickstart back again on the program. As we continue to enjoy, the ambience of the weather.
Nigeria is expired in 2014. Ẹ̀jáwọ́ nínú ẹ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ká tún kólókòlùkò máa lọ káwá Yorùbá ká lọ bójú tó ọ̀rọ̀ ara wa a ní ìdègbèjì láti lò a nínú tẹ́lẹ̀ ìtàgbọ́lání àti èkì ńláńlá bí ayélára bí lẹ́ràn bí àṣàtálẹ̀ bí àwọn nǹkan tá ní ìdè nìyẹn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá a ní nígbà tí wọ́n kó wa lẹ́rú tó fún bẹ́ẹ̀lẹ̀ ní the second world war ọmọ tó mú ìdí ẹ̀sìn ni wọ́n yìnbọn sí Yorùbá kò rán wọ́n sọ aládà kò rán wọ́n mú lọ́dẹ kò rán wọ́n jẹ́ wọ́n jùmọ̀ tó ní wọ́n jáde ọ̀nà tí wọ́n wù wọ́n lẹ́yìn kí ló máa lọ fi táwọn lọ́rẹ́ ẹ̀sìn kágbé wọn lé wọn lọ́wọ́ ìyẹn ní kristiani ẹ wo wèrè wájà ẹ wo wèrè nígbà tó wá yá wọ́n tó wá kóògùn jáde àwọn Abẹ́òkúta àwọn olóbìnrin àwọn British lọ wọ́n gbòògùn lórí iṣẹ́ wọ́n gbòògùn sínú bàtà wọ́n gbòògùn sínú oúnjẹ wọn náà ṣe bá dé wọ́n kò yìnbó l'Abẹ́òkúta ó padà délé òtútù jí ẹ̀wọ̀n wèrè wọ́n pa Abíọ́lá wọ́n gbẹ́jọba fún sọ́mẹ́gàn ṣé sọ́mẹ́gàn fi ṣe wèrè wọ́n pa Abíọ́lá wọ́n ní kájọ́ ọba ìpàdé kúkú àtọ̀túnmọ̀ ọjọ́ mẹ́jọ tí ó bá jẹ́ kí tẹ̀wọ̀n àlè tó yẹ kó gbà nítorí ajẹ́ wèrè nítorí ajẹ́ wèrè nítorí ajẹ́ wèrè.
And we hope that that message from Agbakoba. Would President Bola Ahmed Tinubu be able to dissolve the 1999 Constitution? Majority of you have told us that that cannot be possible. It needs the National Assembly to do that. And the question is, would the National Assembly do that? And if the National Assembly are not going to do that, for how long more are we going to be living in disaster? I mean, in this situation. So let's take us back to Shehu Sani. We are almost 2 hours into the program. My name again is OLAYOMI KOIKI, known as Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. One of the campaigners of the Yoruba Nation struggle under the leadership of Professor Adebanjo Akintoye, and likewise Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, Otunba Demola, and as many nationalists that do not believe that Nigeria should continue to exist. We should go away from Nigeria. Separation is not a war. I'm going to charge the iPad on, so, So we'd like to say thank you so much to many of you that have joined us, and those of you that are still with us, and those of you that will watch this later on as well. So, Shehu Sani told us after his visit to Buhari. I don't know which of the Buhari, because Buhari has not come to London ever since Buhari left power. It looks like Buhari is now a very strong and fit man. But before Buhari, we knew that it was not. Buhari was like someone that was traveling frequently to UK, but all of a sudden, Buhari ti denti areti ya gan, kò ní any problem mọ́, àìsàn kankan ò ṣe mọ́. Bí a tó bá wà lórí oyè láìsàn máa ń ṣe wọ́n, but tó bá ti kúrò lórí oyè yẹn, àìsàn yẹn kò ń ṣe wọ́n mọ́. So bí àìsàn tó ń ṣe Buhari ní Aso Rock, but now that Buhari has left Aso Rock, Buhari is now a very strong and fitted man. So I'm going to look at some of the headline. I've seen some. Senator Shehu Sani, a North Star on a new mission. That was Business Day NG 9 hours ago. MSN, don't make Buhari's mistake in appointment. Shehu Sani, So you expect Tinubu not to do like Buhari? That has always been the norm of Nigeria. Don't repeat Buhari's mistake. Shehu Sani wants Tinubu again 6 days ago. The Punch newspaper. Arise News. Shehu Sani, Northern leaders should abandon plan to unseat Tinubu in 2027. It could destroy the unity of Nigeria. I want you to hold on to that one. We'll come back to that. Channels Television 6 days ago. Don't repeat Buhari's nepotism. Shehu Sani urged Tinubu. Vanguard 1 week ago. Attempt to unseat Tinubu can destroy Nigeria's unity. So it shows that the same thing to Shele Nigbati Buhari wa lórí oyè is about to play out as they're going into 20. They're already planning 2027. While we are here thinking, oh, they are already planning. These are master planners. Master planners. Reject loans, grant attached with demonic conditions. Shehu Sani tells Tinubu and other African leaders. New Telegraph 3 days ago, Shehu Sani wants Tinubu and African leaders to reject loans with demonic conditions. Will the North get angry with that condition? Motigbota, Prophet Tibetan and some 2 other prophets came out and spoke about that. I'll be talking about that, but not in this program. So, Itafeka Gongon, the Punch newspaper, Northern politicians visit to Buhari and they are plotting to unseat Tinubu in 2027. So let's go with that. Let's open it up. According to Shehu Sani, a former senator representing Kaduna Central Senatorial District in the 8th National Assembly, known as Shehu Sani, has said the recent visit by some prominent northern politicians. I don't know how Buhari has now become, the Mecca that people are going there and they're plotting from there. But let me tell you what is happening. Those that are doing the plotting is Sultan of Sokoto. Okay? Sultan of Sokoto Gongoloa behind there. What can fi Buhari and fi camouflage? Oh, they are visiting Buhari. No. Buhari, dead or alive, doesn't have any. He's not a strong stakeholder anymore in the politics of Nigeria. But again, the military will always be military. Like I always say, we don't have a true confirmation whether Buhari died or not. But whoever he is, he seems to be more stronger than what he was when he was a president, for 8 years. So there is a move that the Northerners, but some of you might say, Koiki, is that not going to be on our own benefit? Yes, it will be on our own benefit if Tinubu breaks Nigeria within the next 3 years. But if Tinubu does not break Nigeria within the next 3 years, which Tinubu, like I said at the beginning of the program, it will rig this election. If they like, let them form themselves together. Tinubu will make sure that he takes that next 4 years. But what we should be asking is, on sitting here, it has a lot of meaning for people like us. The word on seat plot to unseat. Let's go and see what we can get from Google. Let me just leave it as unseat.
Unseat.
What does it mean?
Unseat.
Uniform November Sarah Echo Alpha Tango. UNSEAT.
Unseat.
Cause someone to fall from a horse or bicycle. Wọ́n fẹ́ unseat Tinubu. Ọ̀nà wo ló fẹ́ fi unseat ẹ̀? Ẹ mọ̀ pé kò fún wa ní details. Kò ń ṣe election ló fẹ́ fi unseat Tinubu. Some of you need to understand that we are living in a world that tó bá sọ nǹkan méjì, you start thinking in more other areas. Ó ju ọ̀rọ̀ 2027 lọ, ọ̀rọ̀ tó kọ̀ ra sọ yẹn. It has a lot of meaning around it, especially with so many other evidences. Kankan táwọn àná ń gbọ́, táwọn tó wà láàrin wọn sọ, àti tó wà in the public domain. Let me first put it this way. Is the presidential aircraft in danger? That is why Tinubu is buying a new one. We've all heard about the new aircraft that Tinubu wants to buy. Kí ló ṣe ìtàn ń lò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn? Is there a trap to unseat Tinubu that he would die using that aircraft, probably a fatal aircraft accident? Could it be the reason why they want to unseat Tinubu? But they have to give us the impression that it will be in an election. Could it be that poison him, bring more Fulani terrorists, and make sure that Abuja is ungoverned? All this is good, but as long as Tinubu is able to break Nigeria ahead of time, because if they are able to hijack the power, the question then is, what should we, self-determination, do? If that project fail, because we wrote Tinubu now, he hasn't responded back, as far as I'm concerned, from what I've probably, I've not heard anything from Baba that Tinubu has replied us. We are begging our elders. They're all keeping mute. Taba lori mission tí wọ́n ṣe. Kí ni ká wá ṣe? Àwa tá ń béèrè fún òmìnira Yorùbá. If Tinubu get on seat before 8 years, and I'm talking about from now to the next 8 years, what should we be doing? And what should we prepare for? Declare Yoruba nation? Come out in our millions, not to support Tinubu, but to defend the self-determination right. Because our expectation for Tinubu, I'm charging it.
I need that.
You're almost there. 1 more hour to go. Love you. What fait unseated?
Unseat.
We can also call it dislodge. It's the same thing similar to dislodge or throw. I'm throwing this ball. I'm throwing this ball. On all of it, if unseated, are they going to unseat him officially through the ballot box? Or because they know that they cannot unseat Tinubu with the ballot box. Tinubu gongon don't lo fun no. Especially is now in charge. He will be the one to come. He will probably dismiss Mahmoud Yakubu because only Logbabode fun. He will bring a Yoruba man there. He will do whatever he needs to do. So, with all this that they are planning for Tinubu, what should we be preparing for? Our town shape a Yoruba nation. I'm asking, I don't know. Kinikawa ma baradi fun. In case of eventuality, Toba Lori Tinubu on seat before 2027. Because the intelligence that got to me is that the aircraft Tinubu Tibuari Lotonye, something has been manipulated around it. And I think Tinubu got the gist of it as well. And he decided, no, I'm not using this aircraft anymore. Mo le wa lo ni accident lórí air. What other things should we be worried about? Don't prep. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ ọmọ APC, ẹ jẹ́ tètè máa pe àwọn tẹ́ súnmọ́ dáadáa kó sọ fún Tinubu pé ọdún mẹ́ta péré ni ó sì ní láti play with. Tó bá tẹ̀ wá ṣe ọdún mẹ́ta tán, tó tún lọ ṣọdún mẹ́rin tó kù, the whole mission of Tinubu will be, tó bá padà wá pé òun tó fẹ́ wá ṣe nǹkan kan ní after 2031, wá fìbọn fọ́ lórí ni bí wọn ò ní gbà fún. Ọbásanjọ́ try ẹ̀, ó fẹ́ ṣe tọ́ tàwọn ọgbà fún. Tinubu ò lè dánwò káwọn Northerners gbà fún. Tó bá tẹ̀ gbà láyè, mo kí brother mi Pavilion TV, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí kan ni. Tó bá tẹ̀ gbà fún that Tinubu should push for the 4 years, another 4 years. Do you think that they will accept another 4 years again? First, they will have to change the constitution, or how is that going to happen? So the word unseat that Shehu Sani used, that some Northerners, we've seen them, they've been going to see Buhari. Even Lai Mohammed went to see Buhari. I think Saraki also went there. I can't remember now. I think Saraki also. But I want to laundry Buhari yẹn, one of it unseat, remove a government, remove Tinubu's government and install the Northern government back. Just like we removed Labour Party after, Conservative government after 14 years. Mokiba Bami is Stephen Emmanuel. Are you with me? We have very limited time to play with. Gbogbo time tí gbogbo àjọ ní àti Tinubu àtàwọn tá à ń ṣe Yoruba Nation is up to 2031. Worst case scenario. We must be able to decide our fate. If Tinubu smashed it and say yes, but tó bá lọ smash it, are we all not in danger? This is where we must reinforce. One article on Losodo Buhari, yes, I know that. An article has been trying to get the president since 1992 by Shegbo. Saying you know what they want lay at the one diaspora. Ilé òǹṣọ̀rọ̀ anífẹ̀ẹ́ Tinubu, àkọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ nífẹ̀ẹ́ ọ̀ràn wa náà ká tó máa sọ̀rọ̀ pa anífẹ̀ẹ́ Tinubu. Ìfẹ́ tá bá ní sí Tinubu kó break in Nigeria, and a breakup or dissolution or whatever òyìnbó tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá lò is not a war. A ṣì ń wo meaning.
Unseat.
Remove President Bola Tinubu from the government or a person in authority from power. That is the full meaning of
unseat.
What does unseated mean in law? To remove someone or something. I am moving this thing now. Unblocking me. I've removed it. Is the North getting agitated, uncomfortable? You okay?
Yeah, just checking how my neighbors in my iPad.
It is still 8%. Let it charge more. Okay? In another 1 hour, it will be fully charged. Okay? Good boy. Wọ́n ní wọ́n ń ṣe ìpàdé kọ̀kọ̀ láti unseat Tinubu. Our Yoruba nation, a gbọ́dọ̀ wà strategic, a gbọ́dọ̀ prepare. Because eléwọ̀n ṣe Buhari ló wà lórí oyè mọ́ nísìn. Tó bá ti yọ Tinubu, either through a coup d'etat, kill him, wait for 2027, or other means that we might not know. Because the word unseat has all kind of different meaning. One now one fẹ́ Tinubu mọ́. Now, in the politics, in your company, what does unseat mean in the politics? Unseating is a political term which refers to a legislator who loses their seat in an election, like we saw Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak, I take all the responsibility for losing this election for the because Rishi Sunak, the former prime minister, was unable to get the conservative back to power. So he has taken the responsibility. Would President Bola Ahmed Tinubu break up Nigeria and give us that hope that everybody wants? Or would he just be on seat and then he will not complete that vision and then we go back to the Northerners? That is a disaster waiting for every one of us. And I am not the only one that have said this. I've seen and I've heard, whether you believe in prophecy or not, that we must not allow anybody to take the realm of that affairs after Tinubu. It will be a disaster coming. The Northerners are now calculating every gap. They know that the Southeast is going to give them a tough time. And Tinubu might be treading very softly. I believe they're going to release Nnamdi Kanu anytime soon. The Northerners are not comfortable with the release of Nnamdi Kanu back. So they're looking at it that Tinubu no ngbe awon igbese to break up Nigeria, or Tinubu is just playing that game with them, not to give them the impression that he wants to break up Nigeria. But if Tinubu becomes trapped in a danger where he cannot get himself out, what should the Yoruba people do to get the hell out of Nigeria quickly? Because millions of Yoruba people that are not following the Yoruba nation today is because of Tinubu. There's so much loving. Forget about all this. If election is called today, Yoruba people will go and vote for Tinubu. That is the love. Bomb bastard. I am not nearly done, and you are distracting me now. I have 1 hour to go. I hope you're with me. Kí làwọn àgbààgbà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ń ṣe? Ṣọ́kọ̀ dákẹ́ àbí àwọn náà make effort? Ǹjẹ́ wọ́n ń gbìyànjú lẹ́yìn láti jẹ́ kí Tinubu mọ̀ pé ó ṣe in tí ó yẹ kó ṣe, kó má jẹ́ kó pẹ́ ju bó ṣe yẹ lọ? Because ẹ̀yin àgbààgbà náà lẹ ní bíyàn bá pẹ́ lórí èmi kan, oríṣiríṣi ṣinṣin ló máa balẹ̀. Let's continue. They are traveling to Katsina State. The ex-president Muhammadu Buhari ó wá dẹni tó ń plan pẹ̀lú àwọn kan. Ó yá, a máa yọ Tinubu ni o, olóṣì ni, kò ṣe dáadáa fún wa. But àti Buhari wà níbẹ̀, Buhari was doing more the worst as well. The self-determination campaign under our leaders that is already ongoing. We must gear up far ahead now. Because our leaders that are with us, Yoruba Nation, I'm sure they're calculating as well. But we must all be ready. And I can assure you, like I always say, I'm not talking about any other person. I will be making my way to Nigeria as quickly as possible. Because I foresee a danger, especially with everything that we are hearing in the next 6 months. We don't know. Yes, anything can happen. The North can say they are tired of Nigeria. That will be a blessing for every one of us. Imagine the Northern says, no, we are tired of Nigeria. Tinubu. Imagine if that is coming from the Mayati Allah, Sultan of Sokoto, to break up Nigeria. That would be the best. Everybody go their separate ways. But what happened if that does not occur? According to the Punch, reported that, be careful with that, don't let anything drop to this side, okay? Good boy. The Punch reported that the former vice president, Atiku Abubakar, who is also the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 presidential election, as well as the former Kaduna State governor, the evil shotman devil, Nasser El-Rufai, the terrorist guy, among others, recently paid a Salah homage. They were not paying any Salah homage. They were all going there to make sure that Tinubu will be on seat, and it will make life difficult for those asking for Yoruba nation and the Biafra nation and the Ijaw nation, because maybe the North are not prepared for the breakup of Nigeria as much as the others want to. And if you're still one of those that wants to save Nigeria, you better start thinking otherwise. We are not unified. There's no unity among us, and we can never gain such. According to Shehu Sani, who is also an activist, the prominent Northerners want to resurrect the Buhari's political charms and fanatism and mobilize the gullible to another hollow and bewildering end. A project the former lawmaker in a post on his verified Facebook handle on Monday noted would eventually fail. Sani therefore urged Northerners to reject the faces and their plot to unseat the president come 2027, while noting that they had nothing to offer. Sani said, the recent visit by some prominent northern politicians to Daura appears to be the usual Eid homage, but looking deeper and beyond the facade. It is suspiciously a new attempt to build a strong northern alliance using ex-President Buhari as a rallying point to challenge and evict President Tinubu's government in 2027. It is a regrouping of the northern political forces for the next general election, a project that will eventually kiss the dust. They want to resurrect Buhari's political charm and the fanatism and mobilize the gullible to another hollow and bewildering end. They will stock up and light up the Arewa sentiment without considering the infamy it would eventually generate. We want anything that would eventually bring the collapse of Nigeria. But one thing we should not underestimate is what they can erupt quickly, because already, like I said to you, they have already infiltrated us politically wise as well. We're getting message that Makinde wants to be the president or the vice president. So àwọn tó wà láàrin wa náà ló tún máa lò. Àwọn tó ti wà láàrin wa, I am not talking about within the Yoruba nation, within the context of Nigeria today, they will make use of them, the same Hausa people, the same Northerners, just like Yemi Osibajo was used against Tinubu. And that is why Yoruba nation, for those of you that are still believing that one Nigeria should be what we should save now, this is not the time to mess around. This is the time to put your own stake in the breakup of Nigeria for the future that is much brighter for our Romo Yoruba as it stands right now. 6 minutes past 1800 hours. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. As we continue to explain and bring to you up to date some of what might happen and what might not happen. But what would happen is that Nigeria is going into the last final straw, and it will go, and there's nothing you can do to that. Your education qualification will not be affected. It will be transmitted into a Yoruba nation country. All your data will be moved into a Yoruba country. You will get a new passport. You will get a new whatever done, and whatever you have used before in the past will not be affected, including your qualification. But right now, Nigeria is going into the bin. The same Buhari that led Nigeria for 8 years and left the North worse than he met it. It is too early to forget. By the time he left power, that Buhari, poverty, insecurity were at the peak than any time in Nigerian history. They had the power and wasted it. What do they want to do with it again? Again, bracket that word. Kí ni wọ́n fẹ́ fi agbára ṣe? Kí lẹ́yìn ló pa àwọn Northern fẹ́ fi agbára ṣe? The same thing that Tinubu has been able to do right now is ó gbé agbára dání sọ́wọ́, because without the presidency, kò lè ṣe so much. Ó ti di president nísìn, there's no excuse for him. But pointer Tinubu ni pé òun fẹ́ fix Nigeria fún gbogbo wa. Ó lè fix Nigeria. You can try, but you will fail. Ó lè fix it. Because Nigeria has multitude of problems that have existed. Kó tó bí Tinubu ní Nigeria ti ní problem. So what he can do is to dissolve it and allow the regions and everybody to go their separate way. But Oba no fix it. They will drag him and they will unseat him, and the Yoruba people should prepare for whatever is about to come up. A Southerner is in power for just 1 year. It is too early for desperate and power-hungry northern elite to start plotting. All this pointer that I'm reading out has always been the gains of the North. Now, they are very, very uncomfortable. It is just under 1 year. They cannot even wait for 4 years. They want to unseat. They are plotting. They had the power for 8 years. Buhari gave us more power, more poverty and insecurity, because their agenda was never to fix any economy. Yoruba people are thinking that Buhari wanted to fix economy. No, it was not there to fix. It was just using that short man devil, Yemi Osibajo, because that one was doing a lot of economic meetings, summit meetings, blah, 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 blah. Eventually, nothing came out of it. It was all lies. It was all Fabu Oloye. So Yoruba Leni, you are hoping that Tinubu will bring something out of Nigeria, but I can guarantee you that you should start thinking otherwise. So now let's use the last part of the program to talk to our elders. We've known the plan of the North against Tinubu, but kí làwọn ọ̀dọ́ tí wá ń ṣe, àwọn àgbàlagbà wa? What are they preparing for us? Are they just going to be sitting down and be looking, or are they also making any effort or push? I'm talking about whether they are the Afeniferis, whether they are any other Yoruba groups, okay, or whatever, however. What are they doing to make sure that the Yoruba people be free and be free forever? Because right now we are not free. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to first remind us about, again, a bit of history of the 1914 amalgamation, in case you've never heard about it before, or you probably have heard about it, but you are not just too clear. You're right, Mr. Larry Junado. Nigeria cannot be fixed. Warrior made say, don't even know who the elders are. They're there now. They're there. I'm telling you. In 1914, Southern Nigeria was joined with the Northern Nigerian Protectorate to form a single colony, which is what we are calling Nigeria today. The unification was done for economic reasons, and the colonial administration sought to use the budget surplus in the Southern Nigeria to offset the deficit. So the creation of this project, the North were losing money. They were not making any money. And the British colony that were controlling and administering Nigeria then were not ready to be sending money from Britain to the North to support them. So what are they going to do? Take the money from the South, which is what led to the amalgamation, because the North were losing, it was becoming a deficit. So people ask also the following question: What was the reason for the amalgamation of Nigeria? What was Nigeria called before 1914? Who were the key personalities in the amalgamation of Nigeria? What was the British conquest and the amalgamation? So let's first go into what was the reason for the amalgamation. The amalgamation was an administrative fiat of Nigeria by the British colonialist overlord for economic and administrative conveniences. The Northern Protectorate, predominantly Muslim, and the Animanists, and the Southern Protectorate, largely Christians, were aggressively Westerners think. Let's go further. What was Nigeria called before the 1914? The name for its association with river, the first section was the Northern Nigerian Protectorate. The other half was referred to as the Southern Nigerian Protectorate. However, in 1914, the two halves were united. And for over 110 years till today, we have never been united. Forget about the lies that we are united on the football pitch. We love each other. Yes, when there's a problem, Nigerians donate and all that. But in terms of the internal problems that we're encountering on a daily basis, that has never united us, because we are different people, we are different ideologies, and things have never worked. So I'm going to go into at least a very verified website called the Council Foreign Relations. Lugard created Nigeria 110 years ago. This was a blog by John Campbell. Who is John Campbell? John Campbell was also, 1 minute, I'm going to tell you a little bit now. I want to be sure that is the right one. Jack McCaslin is a research associate for Africa policy, study at the Council on the Foreign Relations in Washington, D.C. On January, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that John Campbell, but let's read straight first. On the 1st of January 1914, Frederick Lugard was then the governor of both the Northern Nigerian Protectorate and the colony and the Protectorate of the Southern Nigeria. Signed a document consolidating the two, thereby creating the colony and the Protectorate of Nigeria. Ó sign document. Àwọn wo ló jọ jókòó sign it? Who are those that sat together to sign this document? And if those documents were signed, can we review those documents today? Can we ask questions surrounding those documents? Because everybody knew, and we have been told, that that document, whatever that document was, should have lasted up to 2014, which is about 14 years ago today. But yet, all the criminals calling themselves our elite, our politicians, continue to take advantage of something that has expired, something that is now in question, because there's a question that needs to be asked about the amalgamation, but everybody's avoiding it. Jonathan told us that it is the unity of it is the intention, that's the way he put it, the intention of the British to keep one Nigeria. So why then are you arguing with us that we want to break away from Nigeria? Because Nigeria, according to what we are told here, that a document was signed consolidating the two. One, the Northern Protectorate, and the Southern Protectorate and the colony, creating what is called the Protectorate of Nigeria, which is what we are having today. 46 years later, this article was written in 2018, which was when Nigeria was 104 years. So I've just added the present 110 years. Forget about the all these, it doesn't matter. No, it matters a lot. The reason why we are all suffering today is due to this fraudulent amalgamation. It has not given us our true identity. We have been told lies. We have been told to believe in this madness country called Nigeria, even though it was for economic and a deficit the purpose of the amalgamation. 46 years later, in 1960, Nigeria became an independent state. Imagine that there was an amalgamation and we were not even allowed to control our territory. We were still under the fraudulent European, British colonists. Because, number one, Eshekafunwa, Ekowapapo, Etuwa controlled that territory for 46 years. You can see why every structure of Nigeria will be pulled down, because if they were unable to give us who we say we are, even calling us Nigeria, they were still controlling us for 46 years. And when they were about to give us an independence, it was all shenanigans and fraud. It was never a truthful independence. We never got one. So when someone say, we got independent in 1960, none of us got independent. It was all mirage and lies. They had to give them the false hope that you are now independent. We are no longer the one in charge. But we know that evidence points up to date that the British are still involved in the affairs of Nigeria on a daily basis. But among Nigerians, only no, we are independent. It's just because we have bad leaders. You have bad leaders because they are still listening to the 419 criminal that have given us this fake country. You go to your room. Before the Europeans, 46 years later, we got what they called, in 1960, Nigeria became an independent state. Anniversaries are times for reflection, and given that today, they want us to be remembering the amalgamation. Amalgamation, no. We are not getting there, but in Jesus' name we will get there. Inshallah, we will get there. Those are the lies that we have all been told, and we have all bought into that nonsense by the churches that was created, the mosque, and so many other institutions, that we should celebrate what binds us, as if something is binding us, as if something ever binded us together in the first place. For us to avoid any more civil war, it is best option for Tinubu and our elders to now break that country called Nigeria. The country is still grappling with its national identity. I want us to hold on to that. Who are we? What is Nigeria? Who are Nigerians? Koiki, we are Nigerians. What culture is Nigeria? What language is Nigeria? How was the makeup of Nigeria? Should we remove Nigeria and go back to where we are? That is the question we're asking people. In Tondija láàrin àwa àtẹni tó ń pè ní Nigeria nìyẹn. Why not let us put down the name and go back to who we are? No, Koiki, àwọn kan tẹ̀tú dé láìpẹ́ àwọn tí ní náà kì í ṣe Yorùbá, Egypt láti wá. Unbelievable. Mr. Daridi, Nigeria is nobody. Yes, we all were given that name. With the birth certificate with me says I am a Nigerian, but truly and truly it should be a Yoruba land. But because the name was changed in 1914 with a fraudulent independence, so definitely if you're giving birth, you will be giving birth with that name. Let us change that name. Let's go back to where we are before. Everybody is now asking, oh, no. Let us just restructure. Let's have regional government, as if there will be unity among us. But why are we finding it difficult to understand it? Is what I keep on. I find, maybe I should read that again. This was in 2018, Article Timonkai. So let's just base it as that time in 2018. 46 years later, that independent was given to us as well, even though it was never an independent. Without a fight. They didn't want to go. The British never wanted to go. We saw what they did in South Africa. They never wanted to go because Nigeria was their milk and honey and granite and coffee and sugar. While we are all now trying to get a UK visa so that we can come here like I did 24 years ago. I wish you all the best for those of you applying for your visas. And I hope you will get it soon. Anniversaries are times for reflection. What we are doing today now is we are not just reflecting, we are asking questions, pertinent questions about who we are. Because if you don't know who you are, there is going to be problem. Oh, you first need to know who are you. Because ẹni tó kọ átíkù òyìnbó ni ó wá ní ìlú tó ń pè ní Nàìjíríà after 104 years tí wọ́n ti amalgamated or joined by force tí kò ń ṣe pé ohun àwọn aráàlú yẹn sometimes I wonder some of you Christians and Muslims, because when they were joining Nigeria together, they did not even pray like we are praying today. We are praying for Nigeria, but the people that amalgamated did not pray. When I'm sure they were doing jiggy when they were even putting the name together, because we knew how the name emerged from Lugard and the journalist girlfriend that came to London to that Kogi area, as at the time called Laura Shaw. So when some of you are praying today that we are praying for Nigeria, those that amalgamated and joined and marched or whatever name you want to call it, did not pray. So there was never a spiritual intake with the way Nigeria was formed. But we know that with our own history, there was something that were put together when Oduduwa came. We were given all this information and they are fact. Bí àwa ṣe ṣẹ̀wá àmọ́, báwo ni Nigeria ṣe ṣẹ̀wá? Apart from we were told that from Niger area, they call it Nigeria, Northern, Eastern, Southern, and all of a sudden, military coup, they turn it to state, and everybody is making milk out of it. That is where we are today. And that is the major problem. So we are leaving the major problem. I want one election to fix the problem. Are we crazy people? Are we serious? The real problem is what we are meant to be dealing with. Nobody wants to deal about it. That's when you say Nigeria is an establishment of the British, which is right. They are playing each other. You can't trust them. Mukia Okoya Folayan. Mr. Oluwole, now that the ultimate given to the federal government to act on the letter sent to Tinubu, what is the next line of action? Enough is enough. The next line of action would have to come through with our leaders. So what we are saying to our people, Mr. Fadiran, only no, I disagree that somebody listens to you without understanding and supporting you in Ibadan. I'm not joking, no. I have a lot of reportage and feedback that comes through every day. Moki brother me, Ogbara, and shout out to many of you that are still with me. We're getting there slowly. I have just about 35 minutes to run the program. Ogunwala Sakwe, God bless Mr. George Akiola. The patience of Yoruba people with Nigeria has come to an end. Akin Games, good afternoon. 7 people are listening. Listening on the MixLR saves you a lot of data, or your megabyte as you call it in Nigeria. Mr. Moses Olaniran, happy Sunday. So let's go back again to that article by John Campbell. Only after 104, Muki Grammar, after 104 years, after just over 104 years after amalgamation, Nigeria as a country, which is not a country, is still grappling. Meaning grappling here. Because in Yellow Mafu, understanding why we have not been able to get our identity right. So the word or the meaning of grappling. Grapple.
Grapple.
Grapple. Golf Romeo Alpha Papa Papa Lima Echo.
Grapple.
Engage in a close fight or struggle without weapon. Wrestling. And grapple. Hey, who are you? Nigeria? No, you're not Nigeria. You're Yoruba. As Awanja, we are, because I think get identity in Nigeria. OLAKUNLE, is it possible to join Benin Republic, Togo, and Ghana together and call them one nation? Nigeria is a scam. We are not one before 1914. Let's go back to our roots and have peace, freedom, and progress. That's all we're asking for. In Tondi Jalani Bubuani. Because I think grapple pẹ̀lú identity wa. Ta ló jalè ńbẹ̀ yẹn? Ọmọ Igbo ni. Oh no, kò jẹ́ ọmọ Igbo. Orúkọ yẹn jẹ́ ọmọ Yoruba. No, ọmọ Hausa ni. Our identity. So the word
grapple,
present participle, only grappling, which is GRPPLING. What does it mean when someone is grappling? If you grapple with someone, you take hold of them and struggle with them as part of a fight. You can see why there's so much punching on the X. That will never end if we remain one Nigeria. We can have our differences in a new country and everybody will respect the laws. Bishewa nílùú bẹ́yìn bá sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ gay àti lesbian, ìwọ̀nba lèmi lè sọ níbí báyìí. You know why? The law of this country. The law of this country does not allow me to talk about them negatively. And I have decided to live in this country. I will then abide by the laws. That is how we're going to treat the Biafrans when we have our country. And they will do the same thing, vice versa, with theirs and Arewa and Ijo. But you don't want that. You want every one of us to fight grappling and grapple Arawa in one country because we are not one. Mr. Idris, Mr. Koiki, I am hearing Baba Iloge say we should face Emma take me in comment section. Regional government, call regional government. Yoruba nation, I be done. Distract around pẹ̀lú yẹn. Let's stick with what we are saying here. Do you understand what I'm trying to explain there? Or is there a way you want me to explain it again? Peter Obi ló yẹ kó wọlé, Tinubu ló kó wọlé. If we have our country, Peter Obi would not be able to contest as a president in Yoruba land. How many people agree that? And if he's going to, do you know what is going to happen? Can you guess what is going to happen? It would have to follow the first rules of becoming a citizen of that country. It would then have admitted that as I am becoming an American citizen, a British citizen, your loyalty will be for that country. His loyalty will no longer be for Biafra or Igbo land. But you don't want that. We will never gain anything if we continue in the direction that you guys intend. Share mọ̀ pé àwọn tó ń di British citizen, I'm not talking about àwọn tó bí sí ìlú yìí, àwọn tó bí sí ìlú yìí, the same thing náà ni. But let me tell you, oath becoming British citizenship. I'll tell you. Let me read it out. This is what everybody will read out in the equivalent of a Yoruba country to become our citizen. Lojawaju. Not to this pointer, but it will be something that our government would have written out. All these your friends that got British passport, that have abandoned their Nigerian passport, this is how they swear their allegiance to the king. It used to be the king, the queen, but now that we don't have queen anymore, let me read it for you for the first time on this platform. I, OLAYOMI KOIKI, swear by the Almighty God that on becoming a British citizen, I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs, his successors, according to the law. I will give my loyalty to United Kingdom, respect its freedom, respect its right and freedoms. I will uphold its democratic values. Why then are we fighting each other in Nigeria that you will not get that? The Igbos will not be loyal to Yorubas. The Yorubas will not be loyal to the Arewa. The Arewa will not be loyal to the Igbos. The Ijos will not be loyal to ourselves. Why are we living in denial? Why not have a country and allow them to live with us subject to whatever the agreement that we have lived together before, but to be our governor in Yoruba land? Ìjà tẹ́ ń jà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ yẹn, mo ní pé kò right o, but ìjà tí a lè jà tó lè dájú ni pé ká gba country wa. Àwa lo òfin, ẹni tó máa kọ́kọ́ náà fẹ́ lọ di governor tó jọmọ Igbo, tó jọmọ Hausa, á kọ́kọ́ ti swear allegiance fún ilẹ̀ wa, country wa, government wa, but kò yéyé. Because àwọn olóṣèlú ò fẹ́ jẹ́ kẹ́ ní understanding ẹ̀. Country gangan lẹ gbọ́dọ̀ fight fún, kò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà, torí Nàìjíríà ń ṣe country, kò ń ṣe orílẹ̀-èdè. I'll rephrase it again. Ṣé àwọn tó gba British passport kọ́ wá deny pé wọ́n swear allegiance sí queen ní kó tó kú, àwọn kan láàárọ̀ ọ̀la wọ́n lá appointment, wọ́n lọ naturalize. And this is what they will have to read. What are the citizenship oaths? During your citizenship ceremony at Brighton, this is a government website or a local government equivalent called Brighton and Hove. Àwọn gay pọ̀ ládùúgbò yẹn gan. Ibẹ̀ mo ti kọ́kọ́ tẹ̀lé Tony Blair when I came to this country in 1998. I guess 99. I attended the first Labour Party conference. It was in Brighton. Èmi ò tẹ́ mọ̀ pé àwọn club kan wà, ìbí mi ṣẹ̀dé ni. Lábá wọnú club lọ lọ́ba ń lọ fún mi. Kí lélẹ́yìí kẹ́ mo sáré jáde ni. Because culture tèmi ń gbé bọ̀ ó yàtọ̀ sí ti bíbà. But èmi mo ní mo kúrò nílùú yìí. So I have to respect and abide by their freedom and their right. Tó bá wá sí ìlú yìí, ìwọ tó ṣe ń dé, tó bá lọ bú wọn, you can stay in Nigeria and say that ìlú tẹ́ ló wà yẹn, even though Nigeria is the country. But tó bá ti kúrò ní Nigeria tó wọ Europe, tó bá lọ sọ̀rọ̀ sọ pẹ̀lú wọn, whatever happened to you, òfòrí ẹ̀fà nìyẹn. Because you might lucky and find yourself in Europe. Kó má lọ sọ pé o gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ rí. Right tí wọ́n ní, àwa la náà fẹ́ gbé pẹ̀lú wọn. These are some of the things that some of us have had to adapt to for 24 years. Even though pé kò jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pé ìlú ni ìlú títàwá tí ń bọ̀ yẹn. Tẹ́yìn iṣẹ́ wa ní ká save ìlú yẹn. You can see why some of us right now lórí program tá à ń ṣe Yorùbá Nation yìí. Ó ń run wá nú pé gbẹ̀yìn tẹ wà lẹ́sìn sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ Nàìjíríà. ṣe bọ́n ní Tinubu ti lọ tọwọ́ bọ̀ ìwé kan nísìn. ṣé wọ́n lè gbèrú ẹ̀ lọ fún China? ṣé wọ́n lè gbèrú ẹ̀? ṣé China tó make owó fún rẹ̀? If we were making our money, ṣé mọ̀ pé loan tí Tinubu fẹ́ gbà ló ṣe lọ tọwọ́ bọ̀ jágbajàgba yẹn? It's because of the loan that he wants to get. And he went to sign our life away. So I pity a lot of you. But let's go back to the citizenship ceremony, because this is how we will be giving citizenship to people that have it in the future in Yoruba land. Because some of you are thinking, hey, when we get Yoruba nation, what are we going to do with the people? No. Are you going to be living on your own? You will need foreigners. You will need people. Your neighbors, the Igbos, the Hausas that have lived with us. Where are you going to throw them to? But they would. If we tell them, read our constitution, you want to live with us, swear allegiance. If they fail to do what we want, we will drop them at Anambra and leave them there and drop them back to their government. We will do the same to the north, and we do the same thing to all the foreigners on our land. For me to have lived in this country for 24 years, I have abided, respected the freedom of everyone, regardless of their faith. Because when I say to you, stop fighting for religion, I know what I'm talking about. Stop killing yourself. It's because the law of this country allows everybody to have their right, regardless of whatever their faith and their sex and whatever they believe in. So you are fighting what is the other way around. You are trying to protect Yoruba interest, but you want to be in Nigeria. Only possible. You will never get that. To protect that Yoruba interest, it has to be a Yoruba nation. You will never, because everybody as of today have the right to be anywhere in Yoruba land. Some might say, I've heard some of our sisters say, hey, but the constitution allows our governor, forget about that nonsense. The constitution allows our governor to look at our interest, which your interest. All these bastard governors, that their interest is even more from the other ethnic minority, or no, not my ethnic, against our Yoruba people. But about by Yoruba country, our first interest will be for Yoruba people before any other person. That is what we are fighting for. In time to reach for Yoruba nation here. Koiki ko yemi o. In time ja fún yo yemi o. Ìwọ ń jàjà fún Yorùbá nínú Nàìjíríà. Kò lè rí jà. Ìjà tá lè jà ni pé ká kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Ká dá dúró lórílẹ̀-èdè. Ilé ayé tóbi, don't be fooled that when look, we are just one small tiny place compared to some other places around the world today. And the world is a big place to contain everyone. Don't be fooled. We can set up the same embassy across 195 or 93 countries. Could stop Biafra from having the same thing? Could stop Ijo? Could stop anybody? But the criminal Westerners are giving you the impression that don't allow that. Let's just have one Nigerian embassy to contain every one of us. Madness. Real madness. Tibak pe Nigerian embassy nisin. Wa kọ́kọ́ sọ ìbò sí mi. Tiba wa sọ ìbò tán. Okay. But if it's a Yoruba government based on the constitution tó ń bọ̀ láti Yoruba government nílé, if you call them, they must do exactly what your government. Why do you think that the Americans would defend their citizen even after committing crime outside America? It's because the law of America says that no American citizen must be in the prison outside America. If they commit an offense, bring them back home. Let them have that crime solved on the soil of America in the prison. That is a country. You are in Nigeria now. small lasma, they molest you. Just the smallest lasma. Constitution will solve all the problem. But you can't solve the problem right in Nigeria with the constitution. Tinubu going to resolve láti fi jẹ́ kó fi tọ́jú wa. Ẹ̀yin wá ń sọ pé ẹ̀ ń bá wọn jà. We don't need to fight anybody. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gba country wa. Laws of the country will determine whether some people want to live. Because when they first read the constitution, kí ló dé? We asked in Nigeria more, do you want to live with us or not? For me to live here, one of my fingerprints me. Money, why not? I am not a criminal. Now. Because I'm not going back to Nigeria. This was years ago. So some of you don't understand what we're talking about. But we're trying to let you understand. And why some of you understand, but every sentiment you see, one jaja to make sense. Moke jaya. Every sentiment you see, one long jaja, Ibo gbalewa, kinikan gbalewa. Ìlú yìí gbogbo ẹni tó nílẹ̀ ọba nìkan ló nílẹ̀. King Charles ló nílẹ̀. Àwọn tí ó sọ fún ẹ gbogbo ilé tán tà ní fúnra tán rà ní London, àwọn tó nílé Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó gbalé mọ́ yín lórí. In this country, you dare not say you own the land. Omugboyo ni. You see why we need to push our message to more people, but not on the social media. We need money. If I have money, so we will only do, and I have just 15 minutes to go. Let's come back to during your citizenship ceremony at the Brighton and Hove City Council, at the at one of, let's just say, Ekiti Province, Ijebu Province, whatever our province, working system. Okay, during your citizenship ceremony, you will need to make an oath of allegiance. Swear by Almighty God to an affirmation of allegiance to His High Majesty King Charles III. Find out what words you will need to say. Tó bá ti mọ̀ pé o lè swear allegiance, o lè gba British passport. Àwọn tó ń lo British passport tí mo ń sọ yé wọn. Ó ṣàlàyé fún yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Ẹ̀yin kàn rí British passport lọ́wọ́ everybody. What is swear allegiance pẹ̀lú Louis? So when somebody now say, I mean, I can do Los Area and like no sign. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ní British passport. It is swear allegiance. Yes? 15 minutes. And it has charged to 39%. You want it now or you want it charged more?
Charge more.
Okay.
Before you're finished.
No, almost finished. It's 3 hours. I got 15 minutes more. I hope you understand what I've just said. Everybody that has it, it's the same thing in America, but I'm just using the UK. Again, the oath of allegiance goes like this. Tó bá ti swear, but British passport nìyẹn. So what about them? Okay, you need a British passport to travel around the world so that you don't need a visa. The only time they use Nigerian passport is when they're coming to Nigeria. But when they're traveling out, your blue one sit. Oh yeah, there's immigration officer. But you came with Nigerian British passport. Fake. So I want to what any British passport here. Not all of them. I want a British passport. And you want gbogbo wa pé káwa náà lè láǹfààní àti ní Yoruba passport tó lè gbé gbogbo wa lọ sí gbogbo bí tá bá fẹ́ lọ lágbàáyé in tó níjà láàrin wa nìyẹn. Ṣé Nigerian passport lè gbé káàkiri? Sir, from our own, they will swear with Ogun if they want. If they are not, it will not be given. Silver Badmus. You can see why Yoruba nation is not a joke. It must be do or die. Because if you have that passport, I don't want to say it's heaven because it may not heavenly, but at least you know that you have something that can make you to get somewhere. Gbogbo ẹni tẹ́lẹ̀ fi gba British passport yín tẹ́ ń process ẹ̀, Ọlọ́run bẹ̀ lédùmarè ẹ jẹ́ kẹrì gbà láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà, but ẹ máa rántí pé ẹ máa swear allegiance. You would have to. You don't swear the allegiance, you're not getting any British passport. After automatic kọ́kọ́ ṣe àwọn test kan wà tó ti máa lọ ṣe o, wà á kọ́kọ́ lọ kọ́ there's what I called life in UK. You go and study life in UK, you go and do the exam. You will study life in Yoruba land. After you have passed the exam, you will then come and swear allegiance. Some of you don't know the meaning of Yoruba nation. Yoruba nation, Yoruba nation. No. Yoruba nation is to protect the interest of the Yoruba people first. You will not be able to protect your interest in Nigeria. You will not be able to do all this in regional government because Nigeria still might exist, and you cannot do this in a restructured Nigeria. So you can see the difference now. Benny, Ijaya. Oh man, what's your life in UK? Oh, tó bá ṣe ń fail, o máa láti lọ tún ṣe. Ìyẹn ló máa kọ́kọ́ ṣe kó tó dé stage yìí náà. You will have to do your life in UK. You pass that, then you have to also do Britain, ìlú ọba tó níjòyè. You also have to do a test that you can speak English. Ṣé mọ̀ pé gbogbo àwọn táwa láti Nàìjíríà mo ní Nàìjíríà fraud ni. As a Nigerian, you would have to still retake English. Àfi tó bá ní university degree, you'll be omitted. But tó bá ní university degree, you do an English test. Imagine telling somebody to get a Yoruba passport, wà kọ́kọ́ lọ ṣe Yoruba test. Mọ̀ tó ń bọ̀ pé ká gba country wa. Ẹni tó fẹ́ gba Yoruba passport tó máa gbé káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé, wà kọ́kọ́ lọ kọ́ èdè Yoruba ni. Kò ń ṣe English la máa fi sọ̀rọ̀ tá bá ti gba country. Èdè la máa fi sọ̀rọ̀, wà kọ́kọ́ lọ kọ́ èdè láti fi ṣe exam. Gbogbo àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò tó bá gbọ́ Yorùbá, gbogbo àwọn yẹn máa kọ́kọ́ sá kí wọ́n máa sá lọ ní àbí kọ́ máa gbé láàrin wa kọ́kọ́ ni. So wá àwọn kan wá wà wọ́n kọ́ ní tó ń pè ní indefinite stay wọ́n ní British passport. Tí bá ń ṣe immigration lecture gbádùn ẹ̀ gan wàláì. Àwọn kan wà nílùú yìí wọ́n ní British passport but wọ́n ní indefinite stay. Àwọn kan dẹ̀ tún ní indefinite stay wọ́n ní tán UK. UK, they know how they collect money from somebody. O mama sanwó yẹn ní every year or every 2.5 years. Àwọn kan wà 10 years route. Ẹ̀yin ní COS. Àwọn kan ti máa attack báyìí. Wọ́n máa renew ní next year. Mr. Abayomi, ẹ lọ kọ́ Yorùbá. You will do a Yoruba test. Ìyá mi beauty àmọ̀ pé happy Sunday ma. So to get a British passport, you must pass the English test and you must pass life in UK. What life in UK is, it gives you the history of UK. And they will ask you question, is a multiple question. You read a book about UK, the life in UK, the King Charles, how did that, and then you eventually get a British passport. But this is the allegiance you will have to read out when you go to the council. I, OLAYOMI KOIKI, swear by Almighty God that on becoming a British citizen, I will be faithful and bear the true allegiance to His Majesty, King Charles III. Belawọn ìran no. Ìlú òyìnbó. Ẹ̀mọ́ tá à ń jà fún. Erama, if only you know, you will support the breakup of Nigeria. Mr. Adiola Fortuny, Mr. Koiki, I have told my wife that when I die, they should bury me with Yoruba passport. Wow. You are not just giving allegiance to the king. No. But in case the king bá kú lọ́sàn yẹn. So you'll be faithful and you will bear the true allegiance to His Majesty the King Charles III, his heirs, and his successor according to law. I will give my loyalty to the United Kingdom and respect his right and freedom. I will uphold his democratic values. I will observe his laws faithfully and fulfill my duties and obligation as a British citizen. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Ṣèyí Voltron. Ṣàlàfíà lẹ́wà. Mr. Moses sọ pé, that is what I call system. It will make people to value the country and have respect, which is exactly what Yoruba need. So right now, nobody have respect for Yoruba land within the Yoruba state. Why? Because one, allegiance pẹ̀lú wa. Ẹ̀yin lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ń bára yín jà pé wọ́n ti gbalẹ̀, wọ́n ti ralẹ̀, wọ́n ti ra gbogbo Èkó mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́. One, ní any iota of allegiance to the land. Eshigoni, my brother, Sheyi Voltron. The people that we are thinking that they will have allegiance to us, they don't have it. The Fulanis, any country wa, Fulani wa dẹran wa, àwọn ọ̀tẹ̀ ní tó bẹ́ẹ̀, wọ́n ní ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Wallahi tallahi summa billahi la ilaha huwa, wọ́n ní ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Because òfin máa ti mọ tó máa kọ́kọ́ ṣe kó tó dé stage yẹn. Wọ́n bá jẹ oko nísìn, tẹ́ bá kóra yín lọ́dọ̀ ọlọ́pàá. Ọlọ́pàá wá ní okay, oko tó jẹ yẹn èlò ni ẹni 1 million. Ó yá san 1 million yẹn. Ṣé kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ lákọ̀ọ́kọ́? Most of us need to understand that Yoruba nation is the only thing. And then you will read the national anthem. God save our gracious King, long live our noble King. God save the King, send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save our King. London, UK, ìlú ọba, wàá fi gba passport Yoruba nation. O ma kantem wa. You can see why the fight for Yoruba nation is now or never. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. I appreciate some of you before I go. Mr. Muyiwa Joseph, thank you for watching. Mr. Fadin Otunde, if you're new, Ogbara sọ pé our region is more important to us. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we want Yoruba nation. Moki our Tona Ade Victoria, Mokini Canada, Mokini Australia, Malaysia, Mokini Alan Condi, Mr. Abib Ode one day sọ pé you're absolutely doing a great job. I recently developed interest to Yoruba nation through, though I have been aware of the movement for some couple of years back when I was in Nigeria. I felt like it was a mission impossible and never will be achievable, which is exactly what people think. Because people think that Koiki intention will achievable. Oh, my fair to another 30 years. No. When the people know that when we want Yoruba nation, it will solve majority of this ethnic bigotry, we will first quickly get it. But in time for 4 years, knowing fully well that we cannot defend ourselves with the rest of the people in Nigeria. So, Brother Mini, I felt like it was a mission impossible and never will be achievable. But after listening to some different platforms regarding the struggle, especially yours, change my mindset today, I will confidently tell you that 40% of Nigerians are fully ready to liberate themselves now, but they need a spark to erupt from somewhere. I will say this is the high time to kickstart the campaign because Nigerians are hungry at the same time. But we need to be smart with the movement and let's make use of the opportunity. You need to look into this and deliberate on it. It is just an opinion all the way from Coventry, United Kingdom. And you're right. What we do also not want to do, because as much as we would want to move out, we don't want anybody to hijack it and use it for their own gain. It has to be for the purpose. So I want to be in Nigeria and say, well, I told you this about a week ago. They need the Igboho to come out. They need the lion. Lion. I need the Igboho. Because the Igboho bá jáde nísìn, kó tó sọ pé máa yìnbọn fún wa try. Ṣé Igboho á lead rally nísìn ẹ̀yìnbọn sí. Ẹ̀múgbóyò ni. Ṣé a sọ pé àwa ń jà ni. Ibi movement là ń ṣe. They know that. But táwa bá jáde nísìn, tèmi bá kó yín jáde nísìn, wọ́n lè halẹ̀ mọ́ wa. But ẹ jẹ́ kí bàbá wa lóyè Igboho kó gbórí síta pé ó yá rally yá. They can't do anything. But we don't want anybody to come and hijack it and use it to kill or steal because they've been paying. So if you think that, you are really suffering right now, move out now and do the needful. But don't come and take Yoruba Nation as an advantage. But yes, we have to use it because things are very hot at home right now. So on that note, I got to go now. It's 3 hours we've done. We'll catch up again some other time. Thank you so much to all our 8 listeners. Like I said, you can always listen to us through the MixLR. It saves you a bit of megabyte. You can hear it. It's very clear. I don't bomb me. But the reaction, they come on the YouTube or Facebook and they can see my reaction. So, Obigade Kola Mukinyi, Egbomi, Bugboyin Patapata ni Mukila Iyo ni Kokonsile. Idowu Matthew, happy Sunday. And the week ahead, we'll be treating the next topic from Abakitoye. Let me give you the topic ahead. Is 1900, is exactly 3 hours to the dot, and that means that our time is up. This is the second program. I did one in the morning. You can watch it if you still have the time. It's under 1 hour, 8 minutes. Share the program. Thanks so much, Keke, of course. And if you're not too sure about anything, especially if you're new to the UK, I can always, let you know 1 or 2 things, but probably not something I'll say on the social media. So reach out to me. We'll try our best. I can't guarantee or promise anything. So from next week, which is the week coming now, we shall take creative steps about political parties. The one we just completed this week is we shall clean up our politics. The politics today is not working. Tinubu himself knows that. Evangelist Adebolani, this program should be widely shared for the necessary awareness information for common good. Owolondaduro, Aninkota Leshe. If you push Dubai law. At the beginning of 3 years ago, I was running a CD where my videos were coming out in the videos. So we were distributing it. Odekano. But I had a low money saying that my produce we working here. So there's nothing much I can do. I can only come online. And we hope that more of you will help us to share, split it. Sorry, TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. I haven't got the time for that. Take it on TikTok, split it, slice it, and share it as much as possible. And only 3 hours. They might get interest and they will get hooked to it. So next week, God's willing, inshallah, like Barele Dumari, like Bara Jesu Christi, we shall take creative steps about the political party. That's what I'm going to be treating under the Babakitoye manifesto that he gave to us to do. And on that note, I will call it a very good evening. It's 7 p.m., but the sun is just starting. Oshimato be 9:30. Stay safe. Remember to be very vigilant. There's a lot happening in Nigeria on Ijiwagbe. If you're going out, always let somebody know. Even Nigeria is still a dangerous place right now, and you never know. Let somebody know at least your movement. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, forílẹ̀ ibi wa, kàgbéga falẹ̀rí ìgbàgbọ́ wa ní pé bàtìbẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́ ká ṣiṣẹ́ kájọlá ìṣọ̀kan àtòmìnira ní kẹjẹ́ ká máa lépa tẹ̀síwájú fọ̀pọ̀ ire àtòhun tó dára ọmọ Oòduà dédé bọ̀ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Thank you so much, Mr. Falabi, Mr. Laniran, Plan B, and those of you, Tosin Farm, and those of you that are listening quietly, no comment, but they have program, and they say, Koiki, we might not agree with you of everything, but we appreciate you. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now. Mukia Comfort Ologunja, thank you so much, ma. And to my mom, Igbowo, Babakintoye, Silver Badmos, Olakunle, my brother, all my brother, my friends on the Twitter, thank you. I can't see your comment. That's the only problem. I don't know how to read the comments, whether you guys comment. I can't read it. I can't see anybody. But I know that there's 67 people watching on Twitter, which is also known as X. But thank you so much. We appreciate your time. Bye for now. Take a course. Thank you so much.
Done.
Yeah, just finishing.
I just literally came back.
Yes.
Right before I came back, you literally finished.
Yes.